Make it happen.
Let's make it happen. My name is Mary Beth Olive. I am with Keller Williams for 17 years. I'm excited to be here. And I started like you. I started as an agent. I was an ALC member. I have then became the team leader for 12 years. I'm Team Leader Hall of Fame, which just means I was able to do that for a long time and hit my mark. Over 100 agents a year for 5 years consecutively. So after that, I moved on to what you see now is the Director of Productivity for our Bergen County partners. I'm excited to be here. I love Business Planning Clinic. I encourage you to just dive in, spread out that worksheet. We're going to work through some of the models, and we're going to walk away today with kind of a plan. We're going to need some follow-up classes to actually tighten up that business plan. I'd also like to introduce my co-host, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Thank you, Maribeth. Guys, my name is Josue Barros. I've been in the business with Keller Williams for about 6 years. I also, like Maribeth, built a business with my brother. We built a team. Then at some point, I transitioned to the assistant team leader and assistant MCA role in Coral Gables, Miami. So yes, I do came from Miami. And then, I mean, we grew the market center from 210 agents to 280 in about 2 years. Super excited to be here. And now I'm the team leader for the Rutherford office. And I'm super excited to start sharing things with you guys.
That's awesome. So we welcome Josue. We also have, thank you, Andy. We also have a sponsor here, Andy. Andy is going to come up and speak on his product. But one thing that you'll need it forever, is this book here. Josue, can you show us the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book? Many of you know my book. Huh? That's okay. You can have yours. You can have one just to reference. It's fine. But you will always need this. I'm talking about in your business, not necessarily for this class.
Yeah.
You have plenty of the models inside of your workbook. However, your book should look like this book eventually. Why? Because it should be like a manual. And this is something that I've always shared. I got this a long time ago, is bind it. Take the edge off of it, take it to a Staples or so, and they'll bind it so that you can truly use it as a manual. Much easier to open it up, leave it on your desk this way. All right, so we are going to be referencing some pages in this MREA. I also will be sending out a cheat sheet for the 24 topics, which will kind of bring you through the MREA. I shared that out last year. What'd you say?
It's okay to continue with him in the same. So it's like okay, so it's not done.
No, that's not for me. I don't think. Jason, Jason, just watch that. Okay, just go ahead and mute and listen. No offense, we're just gonna mute you if something happens. It's okay. You can unmute yourself. All right. So where we want to get started is we are at business planning. We are at the end of the year. We have what, 2 months left? Not really. If Ariane's on the call, I'm sure she'll tell you it's like January 1st or something. I don't know. Actually, it'd probably be December 27th, which is pretty close. So, but can we create some business in the next 60 days?
Of course.
Right. We can absolutely create business. Michelle, can we create business today that may close in the next 60 days? Yes, we just have to find the urgent. And so when we talk about urgency, Josue, you have the Shift book, right? I just want to also this book here, Shift. There is a chapter that is specifically on creating urgency and finding the motivated. Now, we're not going to dive into that one because today's all about the MREA, meaning the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the red book.
We might jump into that a little bit on the lead generation model, though.
There you go. Okay. So things we learn every single day. And what I wanted to say is that if you don't have a plan, you're still going to do some stuff. It's just going to be somebody else's plan. And so it pains me sometimes when I see leaders, our agents, leaders, because you're all leaders, and it might be mid-year and we're still floundering on, well, I don't really know what I should be doing. I don't know who should I be calling? This is a business, guys. You cannot go into the new year not knowing what you're going to be doing. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Marvin, you know what? Here's how I see it, guys. We build all the models and systems that the industry takes for granted. We build them, right?
What do you mean by that?
We created these models based on best practices from other people. Sure. Nobody ever put them in paper. Now, why are we so stubborn sometimes in actually putting them in place?
I don't know.
That's another conversation.
I don't know. Gene Rivers just did his business planning, And we're talking about the fact that these models were, if you go to the back of this book, you will see that there are stories. And yeah, is it from 2000? It is from 2000, which is 20 years ago. But I promise you, there are about half of these people are still in the business, thriving, and their businesses are quadruple what they were in the back of this book. And why? Because they leaned on the models and systems and they just kept growing off of them. If you have something that works, and let's just think about this, McDonald's. McDonald's probably the easiest, most recognizable franchise story in the world. And if you see those golden arches, you could be in China and you know that there's a McDonald's somewhere. So creating systems is so that you can expand. Now, the last model that we will discuss, and we're not going to dive into it too much, we'll actually bring that into a top 10% masterminds, is the expansion model. And basically, I want you to think about this. When Gary Keller, and I think it's important that you all do know the story of Gary Keller. When Gary Keller opened up Keller Williams, it was like 1983. And in 1983, it was really a mom and pop shop. It was, you needed a broker. You had to drive to the office. The sign outside in the front of the building, where the building of the broker was going to be really important, because, hey, if you were the first place to hit, then you might get all the good leads. You might get all the good sellers. Okay, so back in the day, it was a 50-50 company. Gary Keller came in and Remax opened. And when Remax opened in Austin, Texas, he lost a good portion of his agents. He lost about 70% of his agents. I think it was 7 out of his top 10 left and went to a Remax. And why? Because they said, well, Gary, they're 100%. And we're just figuring out which Remax to go to. So he turned to that group, and there was like 3 of them that are ride or dies. And he turned to that group and he said, help me create a company worth staying. Help me create the best company in the world. And those 3 people, which we consider our ALC, our Agent Leadership Council, those 3 people basically helped design what became Keller Williams. That profit share system was put in place because they said, number 1, Gary, we want a fair compensation. 50-50 is way too much. That was number 1. Number 2 was, so he gave the, okay, let's set a standard of 70. Then he said, number 2 was, I don't want to pay you forever, Gary, because at some point the brokerage can't offer the value beyond that point. So I'm going to have to go put money back into my business if I want to grow it beyond that point. And so Gary said, great, so we'll put a very fair cap. And so each office has different cap, but it's based on the average price and the average commission, and it's in the competitive market of what other brokerages are out there. The third thing they said was, well, we want to stay in the business. And if we want to stay in the business, we want to be able to make decisions. We don't want you to be the only person. So they created what's called the ALC. And the last piece was, they said, well, we want to share the profits. If we're going to do all this work, Gary, we want to share the profits. And then Gary created the profit share system, where many of you are recipients of profit share. And we understand that half of our profits, almost half of our profits monthly, go back to our associates who have helped us grow our company with profitable agents. It's an amazing opportunity. It's amazing business. But do you think Gary just woke up on that year of 1986 when he franchised it and said, I don't know, I don't really have a business plan, or it's kind of a loosey-goosey business plan. Let's see what happens. No, he didn't. It's and it doesn't have to look perfect. It could look a little messy for some of us, and it's going to look messy. They call it the messy middle. And as you're building something great, it's going to look messy. So I want you all to just give yourselves a little bit of a high five for getting through a pandemic. High five yourself. High five. We got through a pandemic. We're still kind of in it. However, we found some really sweet things that came out of it. Did we not?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's move on with, let's get this party started. And many of you should have done some homework. We had this here, which is your business planning pre-work. I'm just going to go through it a little bit. So if you haven't, I want you to think about this. And this would be the time where you do want to, grab the workbook. Jason, put the workbook again, but grab the workbook. I printed some out. If you don't have them here, there's a few people that are in the room. We have extras. And start taking some notes. And I am going to also challenge all of you. You're not walking out of this day with a million nuggets. You're going to walk out with 1, 2, 3 action items at most.
Morning.
If you walked out with one major action item and you took action on it today.
Awesome.
Okay, let's be mindful. Jason, find that. Thank you. But if you were to walk out of here today and take major action on one thing to move your business forward, that would be a win.
And it goes back to the focusing question. It's what's the one thing that I can do right now such that my business will take to another level?
And what book is that in?
The one thing.
The one thing,
The one
right?
thing.
So there is a one thing website. Jason, if you'd also go ahead and put in the chat, Keller Inc., KELLERINK.com. Keller Inc., that is where you will find the books. That is where you will find the tools for the books. We're not going to get into all the sharing that I could do because all of you know I can go on a bunny trail with all of the great resources that we have here at KW. So let's dive right in. First, the questions were what your numbers are. And I would like to hear from the room, if we could do this actually before we dive in, from the room, from the Zoom room and the physical room. Who do I have in the room? How many of you, and by like a show of hands, by a show of hands, how many of you have been in the business for over 10 years, Put a little heart up in there if you have a reaction or raise a hand. I see Jay Shapiro, Kelly Weber, Ron Lugashi, 10 years plus. Awesome. How many of you have been in the business for less than 1 year? Less than 1 year. I want to see. Raise a hand, put a reaction, less than 1 year. Okay. How many of you are in the business for about 5 years or so, give or take 5 years? I see Heidi, I see Amrita, right? I see, yeah, there's a lot of people. That's a lot of people at the 5-year mark. Okay. And how about here? How many years are we looking at? 4, 14, 3, 1. Okay, so we have a Andy. 4 he's with the home warranty company. It's just Andy, guys. All right, so we have a wide variety, but can I ask so Kelly Weber, you've been in the business how many years? 20 she's been in. Has it always been amazing? Was it, she's saying no, it wasn't. Was it a little challenging in the beginning, learning? Has it been challenging through the pandemic? Yes. Did we get some really sweet things though? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Okay, somebody who's been, Amrita, 5 years in the business. When did you feel like you really started to feel like this is a business that I've created? What year was that?
Probably this year.
And is this 5, 4?
This is 5. It was my best year ever.
Amazing. What could you say the one thing is that helped you get to where you are right now in your business?
I heard somebody say be the digital mayor of your sphere, of your town. And everything I do revolves around that. Just being
Awesome.
My town is my world. And Gary Keller said in his book I read once, make your world really, really small.
Yes. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Amrita. Make your world really, really small. It doesn't mean that you don't get to live a big life. You just get to go really deep and granular with your small world. And you can make it as big as you want. You have enough business right in your own neighborhood, right in your own database to do everything that you desire to do. Yesterday, I spoke on the BCP call, which is a morning daily script call. It's 15 minutes script and role play, 10 minutes breakout, and then ahas, and we go on with our day. I'm going to challenge all of you to start joining us. But what we talked about was Arlene, how many closings did we say happened in the year? Was it 27,000? 12,000 already? 12,000, I think. 12,000. And I want to challenge you all as we go into these conversations that we should not be comparing where our growth, linear growth is what my coach called it. Linear growth. We should not be going, okay, well, I did 100,000 this year. Next year, let's build on that. I'm going to do 150. I'm going to do 120. No. How about you go out there and you do the calculation? There were 12,000 units that closed year to date in 2021. How many it's possible for me to go get? Because if you look at what I had, can I grow it off of that? What if you had 5, 6, 10 times what you had this year? Right?
That's disruptive.
That's disruptive. How do you get disruptive? With our lead generation model, we're going to talk about disruptive. And I really want you to mastermind a little bit. So when I ask you for questions like Amarita and Kelly, I love that they're able to play. Please play. All right. So the numbers were the amount of money I need to pay for my lifestyle and get out of debt. Do you know that number? Do you know that number? If you don't know that number, you need a financial advisor meeting. You need a spousal meeting at the table with the computer up and the bank account. You need to figure out what money you need to pay for your lifestyle and get out of debt. I would be bold to say that I would hope that we were all out of debt, and I would think that we all have carried debt at some point in our life, and we know what that feels like. The burden of debt is not even what it is. It gets in your head. It starts to tell you stories about yourself. And then before you know it, you've literally become paralyzed and you're not moving any longer toward what you want. So I encourage you to put that debt number on paper, as ugly as it may seem. If you have, and there's mortgage debt, and yes, if you're like Dave Ramsey follower, he'll tell you get rid of the mortgage too. But I'm saying keep the mortgage debt as one separate thing. It goes against an asset. And then look at the debt that you have for credit card, for car payment, for, if you can't afford that car, maybe we just don't get it. If I can't pay cash for it in today's world, maybe I just don't get it. If I can't pay for a vacation, cash, I maybe just don't go on it. I figure out how to do an Airbnb, and maybe I'm cooking in the suite instead of going for breakfast at the luxury Hyatt on the waterfront. I mean, we have to figure out how we get to live our best life. And I'm going to tell you right now that getting out of debt is probably the biggest thing that some of us have to focus on in 2022. For some of us, 2020 and 2021 got us out of debt. Okay, we did. And for some of us, we moved closer to getting out of debt. I'm not going to harp on this, but I really want, this is a real conversation. We could talk all about, go get a listing, have a commission, 15,000, yay, awesome. But then you go charge the credit card and you're walking around like, oh my God, I need a listing, and commission breath is all over you, and then you freeze, and there's more out there for you. So please figure out what the debt is, figure out what you need to pay your lifestyle. That will help you figure out what is your freedom number. And the freedom number, and Kathy's going to say something, the freedom number is what do you need monthly that if that were coming in passively, you don't have to work. Some of us have that coming in, and then it becomes a very ease and elegance lifestyle. Kathy Verbeek.
So all I was gonna say is there's a great exercise that you should do probably quarterly, and that's go through your credit card statements and your bank statements to see what memberships you added, what subscriptions you added.
Yes.
Are you really using them? There's a lot of money that you're probably paying out that you're not even leveraging it for, and that's a great way to really minimize your expenses.
Kathy is saying to
money than business.
to go quarterly and have a credit card assessment. Okay, look at all of your credit cards, your auto renews. Now, for some of you, you just do it once a year and you cut up the card at the end of the year. For some of you, it might be a more purposeful business plan to say quarterly, I'm going to look at what do I have coming on my credit cards, because I probably got bamboozled into some subscription that I'm not even realizing I'm paying for. Or I have a gym membership of $52 for the last 17 years that I don't go to. But I don't want to give it up because it's got a pool. Okay, anyway. Yeah, okay. A question from Alina. Is that your hand up, Alina, or are we just still raising the hand about the, I think it was a raised hand. All right, my business expenses annually, estimate them. What are your business expenses? We're gonna get into what it's gonna cost you. However, what are your business expenses? What do you think your business expenses are? Have you gone through the credit card? Do you go through the credit card monthly? Do you have a credit card just specifically for your business expenses? Is it an Amex that forces you to pay it off? Right, okay. So if you are not disciplined, you might have to do that. If you're not disciplined, you also might just have to do an auto pull that you're like, whatever the bill is, it's pulling out of that account. And what account should that be linked to? A business account. Heidi Pollack.
One thing, at the beginning of the pandemic, Dean Simonides, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, said, which I did, which is really helpful, is to create a separate account that is just for your tax money.
Yes.
So when you get paid, you take whatever percent of taxes that you're going to owe, and you put it into that account, and you do not touch that money. And further, if you want to put money in a 529 401k, you can also take some off and put it in there as well. And so that way you're never overwhelmed when it comes time to pay quarterly taxes or your taxes at the end of the year.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, that's thinking as a business owner.
That's right.
Most people run this business as a practice, and yet then they're struggling because they don't know their numbers and you're in debt. So awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Haiti.
I actually have it that every closing
Arlene has it that every closing that she has,
I send.
she sends a 30% over to that one account. That's awesome. And he puts an investment so that you can use it later on in the year.
And then he pays my.
And then he pays your quarterly taxes. So leveraging out through great professionals is also a super great aha that I got just in the first 20 minutes. All right, so now we need to know, what are your business expenses annually? Estimate them. What's my average commission amount? When we get to the economic model, you're going to see where there's two places that you could actually do the same work and make more money. And that commission amount, both of those numbers are attached to it. So number of listing appointments gone on last year, number of buyer appointments gone on last year. You should know that. If you don't know that, I would advise you to spend a day with yourself and go into your calendar. You probably will have more of a challenge figuring out your buyer appointments than your listing appointments. And when you have listing appointments, I hear about them. So just be mindful that if you take a look, you'll be able to find those. So number of listings sold last year and buyers sold last year, that's the easy one. You could just go right into your MyKW in your reports underneath your cute little face. You'll have some reports there that will show you some detailed sales transactions. If you want to just do the easy button, email your MCA and ask them for a detailed DA report. Okay, you want say, hey, MCA, can I please have a detailed DA report so I could see all my closings for the year, what I've paid in, what my commission was, what my royalty was, what my cap dollars were. Tara, did you have something to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I recently read Profit First, and it was a little overwhelming, I will admit. However, it definitely, if you're stuff, your money, everything is all over the place, it really helps you to figure things out and have multiple accounts so that you are set up for success, because it definitely helped me. My stuff was everywhere.
Thank you, Tara. Tara's referencing the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. I think he then wrote another book called like Pay This Next or something.
Yeah.
Right. I interviewed him about a year and a half ago. I have a video. I'll shoot it out. It's on my YouTube channel. He's from New Jersey. He's from like Boonton area. But his whole methodology, and we follow it, is to get those 5 accounts going and really play a money game with your money, but pay yourself first. And that's really important. Thanks for Tara for bringing that up, because that's part of this discussion about the economic model and creating a business plan. Here's what I want you all to think about. Is your business profitable? Okay, pretend you own the business. You're not a real estate agent. You just own the business. You own the Marianne Carey real estate business. You own, the Amrita business. You own it. You don't operate in it. So now who do you have to pay? You have to pay the sales agents. You have to pay for your expenses. You have to pay to operate it. You have to pay for the open house, all that. So you pay for all of that. Is there profit left over? If you were to hire yourself, and those of you that are even in your first year, if you were to hire yourself one agent that did all of the agent work, what would you pay them if they were the agent on your team? Would they be on a 50-50 split with you, a 60-40 split? What would they be on? And if you paid yourself, and that's where the profit first, where you pay yourself first, You would pay yourself as the agent inside that business, and then you would leave the profit sitting in the account to see at the end of the year, how much profit? Like, could I literally walk away from this business, have a 7th level business, and it would still operate and produce profit? I mean, listen, I know that a lot of us are not at that point in our business, but I always want to know if I'm going into a workout, okay, tell me about the whole workout. What does this look like? So I know when I'm near the ends. It's the same thing with any kind of plan. I want to see the whole plan out. Okay, so that's the other thing. I urge you guys to decide on what type of business are you developing. For some of us, maybe you're in the latter part of your careers. And you're like, I just enjoy this. My debt is paid off. I have my bills paid. And this is my money for my retirement. This is my money for my children. This is my money. Okay, so what does that business look like? It might be different than the agent who just got in the business and wants to see a 7-8 person team get developed. Wants to do 100 transactions in their first 5 years. Wants to do 100 transactions in their first year. That's going to look different. So this is also a time of year where you need to decide, what does your business look like in the end? What does it have to look like in the next year? All right. And so that's the last question, was what does my team consist of? My team consists of me. It consists of who? Do you have a cyber backer? I know some people in this room, some people on the Zoom have a cyber backer. A cyber backer is somebody like Jason. Jason is my amazing assistant. And he does a lot of things that I just don't have the time or the bandwidth to do. By putting somebody in your business and leveraging you, you can go do other things. So maybe it's a partner, or maybe you're a buyer's agent on a team.
Transaction coordinator.
Yeah. A transaction coordinator, when you outsource and you hire our in-house transaction coordination teams, that is part of leverage. Are you going to have a business where you only do the work of meeting with the clients, getting them to place an offer, negotiating, and you literally outsource all of the paperwork to a transaction coordinator? That would probably be the first step I would advise some of you to take this year in 2022. What would be, what would I hear? Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, I could just do it myself. You know what? I'm going to tell you guys, even if you paid $500 a file, that $500 is going to free maybe 10, 15 hours of your stuff up throughout the course of a couple months. And you could go create maybe 2 more deals for that. You get to choose. All right, we're going to dive into the material right now. Go ahead. Oh, another question in the chat. When I'm looking at my numbers, do I count my rental transactions too? Okay, great question, Amrita. That would be a personal decision. For most people, I would say keep it as a separate business model. Like, that's a separate business. That's my rental arm. And I also want you all to be thinking about this. Do you have a rental arm? Do you have an investor arm? Maybe it's a different agent that you pair up with for
Roger Castian.
The Gold Coast. Let's say the Gold Coast is an area where you're not that familiar with. Okay, so that's my waterfront arm. That's my Edgewater arm, my rental division arm, my commercial arm, but luxury arm. And draw it out on the board and see, okay, well, and who would I need to attract to be able to, you know, dive into the luxury market? Well, what would I need to do? I would need to go to some classes. I would need to go visit luxury properties. I would need to study. And you start to build out what you want to do. So with the rentals, I would say what happens, guys, is in your first year, you might want to count them because you're like, they're units. Go, Eva. They're units. However, when we start looking at the dollars that come from it, it starts to sway, it starts to mess up the economic model. So I would encourage you, if rentals are a big part of your business, create a rental economic model and a sales economic model. Now, I also would encourage you, rentals in Bergen County, are they like $500? No, they're like $2,000, $3,000. I mean, yeah, we have some that might be $1,200 or $1,400, but I would advise you, try not to touch that money. Say to yourself, okay, that's my money for a big family trip. Okay, one of our agents has a big family trip that they would like to cover for the whole family. Well,
So my
that question,
My
yeah,
question is not more about the money, it's about like, when I'm looking at this sheet in the planning, how
yeah.
many units did I sell? How many buyers did I represent, or how many sellers did I represent? Am I looking at, listings taken, even if they were rental listings? And
Yeah,
the
I
answer is
wouldn't.
no.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would keep them separate. Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right. So now here we go. And some of this stuff you guys get, so we're gonna go through it a little bit faster. We're gonna break, so we're gonna break at 12. And we are going to have a half-hour lunch, and then we're gonna come back for 1 hour. So we're gonna break at 12 to 12:30, and then at 12:30, we're gonna come back for 1 hour, 12:30 to 1:30. Leave 15 more minutes. Hi, Miss Beautiful Holly, I see you. I love Holly. Okay, so getting started, we talked a little bit about getting started, and looking at what you had. We have models and mindset, economic model.
The lead generation model, the budget model, the organizational, and then you're gonna walk out with a plan on actually how to put it together. That's the most exciting part.
Yes.
Now, Albert, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so the goal for this course is for you to understand really the power of this. Guys, this is powerful. These models have no limits. So if you want to build a big business, you need big models. And the difference between the top 20% of the people who produce and the rest is the fact that they have big models to actually support that business. It's as straightforward as that.
And they work the plan.
Yeah.
They just work it. They work.
Yeah, just be stubborn on following that plan, and then execution. That's really important too.
Absolutely. Executing the plan is probably the most important, because we do great at deciding on what the plan is. Andy?
I was gonna say, when did you want me to go? Because I know you're about to go through a whole set.
We're going to go into economic model after that.
Okay.
Is that cool? Okay. So, what you said before, creativity, business, the foundation is where we have to build the models. Then you can get creative. You can't be all creative until you have figured out the models of your business. What happens is we get creative, we see, and I'm going to use Amrita for a second. I don't mean to pick on her, but she has this awesome thing that she does where she takes these photos of her past clients, and she offers like a photo shoot. And okay, I love what she does, but if you don't have a bunch of clients and that's not something, and you haven't started even lead generating, and you don't have a database to even market that to, I'm going to tell you, okay, maybe next year you do the pictures like Amarita's doing, because you need to put the models and systems in the foundation of your business. No database, well, yes, I'm not going to tell you don't do it, but at the same time, you're looking business models, you're not going to go have an event without having your database set up.
And fact is, if you're having a roller coaster kind of business, if you're closing one deal, then the next 2 months you don't close anything, then the month after you close 3 deals. If you have that kind of business, most likely you're being creative first without a foundation.
That's right. And this here is E to P. So now, if you're looking in the red book, we are in the first section, and we're working up towards, we're working through the 6 myths. We're working towards the models. But if we look at for E to P,
I love that one.
E to P, go ahead and explain it.
So, hey, by the way, who thinks you have talent? Who here is a talented person? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us, right?
Yay.
We all have talent, guys, and that's phenomenal. And yes, that's called natural ability. Natural ability. This natural ability will only take us so far. Have you ever felt you're trying something and you cannot make it happen? You're trying something and the numbers don't show up. You're trying something and you don't see the results. Most likely you're hitting a ceiling of achievement.
That's right.
And the only way to break through that ceiling of achievement is through models and systems that will actually expand your natural ability. That's just how it works.
So this is how it works in real estate, is sometimes it might be that you're really great at your
selling them, maybe.
No, really great at your database, or just working open houses or something, and like you've kind of maxed out. Like you do as many open houses as you possibly can. You call your spheres as much as you can. You've got a good foot of a business, but now you're hitting the ceiling. Like you're doing 15, 20 deals a year, 15, 20 deals a year. What do you have to do next? Maybe now you need to start adding for sale by owner, or you add old expired, you add another arm into the business. Or you add a person. It's either going to be adding a tool, a system, or a person. That's what's going to get you to break through that ceiling. And we're referencing page 39 inside of the red book, inside of the MREA. And what I want to, like, if we could think about it, is there ever a time, so did anybody ever feel like they've mastered something so much that you had to do something different to get the next result?
Can you explain that again?
So, you know, I don't like to always use the weight thing, but if you're talking about exercise, right, and you're working out, the first stage might be you cut your carbs out. Okay, so now you hit the ceiling. It's like, I can't really lose any more weight without adding anything else. I'm going to maintain. I've cut the carbs. I've hit a ceiling. Now what do? Now you start working out. Maybe working out means I go for walks. And now you start seeing maybe 5 more pounds come off, but you hit another ceiling because that kind of intensity is not going to get you there. You're going to maintain. So now the body says, okay, what next? Either we got to change up the way the food is interacting inside of your system, or we start getting a personal trainer. Now we start adding weights. We start doing interval training. And now we start getting the results that we want. And we're constantly breaking through the next ceiling. And every time we broke through the ceiling, it was either adding another system model tool, or I'm telling you, the last thing was adding the person. You know what? I'm going to need a personal trainer to show me what I need to do to get to that next level, which would be hiring a coach, which may be bringing in an administrative assistant into your business because you realize that's the next step. And so you'll be at the next flat line, right? And that's the other thing I want to tell you. You have to discipline your disappointments, and you have to set your expectations that at some point, again, you're going to be feeling the same way you feel when you feel stuck. Andy?
So I know a lot of agents.
Yes.
A lot of agents, when we get to this topic,
Yep.
they'll say something along the line. It's not everyone, but a lot of the agents will say something along the lines of, only I can do the business as well as I do it.
Okay, so Andy's making the point of, has anybody here, you know, ever said, but they need me, but they want me. Only I can go show these houses. Only I can go take the listings.
And I don't trust anyone.
I don't trust anyone else to do it as good as me. I can do it better, faster, right? Let go. Let go. If you're at a position like that, somebody's trying to take it from you. Now, I will tell you, if you haven't identified the right person and you don't have the person, give me the book and try to take it from you. Okay. If they're not taking it from you, then I'm not going to give it to him.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember back in the day when I was a team leader, and I really wanted to be a real team leader because my OP was very micromanaging. It was back in the day. She was still acting like a broker. Okay. And so this is how it went. Take it from me. No, take it from me. No, you better take it from me. You're not going to. Okay, fine. I'll let you have it. If I wasn't grabbing it, I wasn't getting it. So I learned early on to surround myself with people that if I'm going to give you something, take it. Just take it and run with it. So if you don't have those people, you better go find a new set of people to start looking at. And maybe it's clearly defining what you would like that person to do. Because here's the other thing I know, and Andy's making a great point, is when talent shows up,
They'll push you.
it will feel really awkward. It will feel like they want to take over. It will, but you will miss an opportunity to align and bring in an amazing, talented person into your organization if you are not a great leader, and that scares you.
You know, back to your point, there's a quote from Gary that I've never forgotten. He said, your clients are loyal to your standards, to the standards that you represent. No, you.
Yeah.
So how can you actually create a system that will enable you to keep portraying the same standards to every single customer out there? And that's how you'll be able to really get talent and grow your business.
That's right. They are. They don't care that you show up or not. And I will share with you, those of you who are a little more seasoned and it's hard for you to let go of that, I just say to people, I mean, my own friends and family, are you going to show me houses? Now, some of my best clients know I tried doing that and it's like a disaster. So, and I was that agent, Andy, that was like, oh, they only want me. It's like they're friends of the family. Okay. No. Here's what I tell them. You don't want me. You definitely don't want me. I don't have the time that one of my amazing buyer agents has, and I don't know the inventory like my amazing buyer agent knows. Here's what I am good at. You come to me and tell me what you're feeling, or you want to put an offer on the property, and I can help you with your negotiating terms. I can help you when things get rough. If you need me to mediate between you and the agent, I'm here for you. But I promise you, Ryan is going to do a way better job showing you these houses than I am. We're going to miss houses. We're just going to miss houses. And they're like, okay, yeah, okay, Ryan. Now they're best friends with Ryan now. And whatever Ryan says is like, bow down to Ryan. And that's how it has to be. Because if I say, well, oh yeah, but just call me on the side when you're done, then I'm taking the power away from my agent who I've brought into our business. And am I doing right by him? I promise you, if somebody does something 80% of the way you do it, that is great leverage. 80% of the way you do it. But to Josue's point is standards. Are we in alignment with what the standards are and the expectations? As far as if you want to do it this way or that way, but we still get the same result, I don't care. Your style is going to be better than my style, probably.
And, you know, back to the point, Maribeth, I remember once I was in a coaching call, and we were talking about that with my coach. And he said, Jose, write down, if I was a customer in your database, what should I expect from you every single year?
That's a really good.
It's phenomenal. If you write that down,
say it again.
Again? Okay, perfect. So write down, if, for example, Maribeth will be a customer in your database, what can she expect from you every single year?
Yeah.
Write that down, and that'll be your manual of operations. That way, you know that when you bring somebody else, they have to keep the same standard.
That's awesome. Does anybody have something that you could share with the group that it is a standard that you do every single year with your clients? An expectation? You could throw it in the chat. You could just unmute yourself.
I was only gonna say, somebody said that to me recently, and I realized that was a big aha for me.
Mm-hmm.
To put it in my calendar.
Put it in your calendar.
Reflect the standards that I want from you.
Okay, so Arlene is saying, does your calendar reflect the standards that you set for your business? Not even want that you've set.
That I set.
Okay, your intentions, you've set them. Does your calendar reflect what you've set as expectations for yourself and your business? Yes, Kathy.
I think it can also be a very simple expectation.
Yeah.
I liken it to, I have a car dealer, Mercedes car dealer.
Okay, so Kathy's talking about a car dealer, which that's a really great point.
You know, and so from this particular rep, I've now been doing business with him probably 5 years.
5-year relationship with the rep.
He'll contact me probably quarterly just to check in. How are you? How's the car doing? Oh, it's time in 4 months for your new lease to come up. So let's start thinking about the next car you want. It's a very simple transaction. Sometimes it's a phone call, sometimes it's a text, sometimes, you know, it's very simple, but he's built loyalty where I will, like, I would feel terrible if I decided to go with a different model.
A different brand.
You know,
yeah.
I might have to take him with me, you know.
So Kathy's making a really great point, and I do believe that this is, what do we have in our systems that we could work through this, a smart plan? I would believe that she's talking about a car dealer, and guys, all of you have a car, or maybe most of us have a car, and you get those little, you know, what is it called? Postcards from them about your oil change needs to be done. Oh, there was a recall on this. You get an email letting them know that your lease is coming up, or in the next year, or hey, we could do a buyout, or all of that is a touch system. And what Kathy's saying is that her car dealer that she's gone back to 5 years has built a loyalty because he has consistently reached out. Now, if I asked you, how many times have you actually answered him? Oh, you do always. Okay. But you pick up the phone, or because, or is he always on your mind? No, but you know, she said she would feel bad if she even chose a different brand.
And here's the thing, he's always bringing you value, right? If you're always bringing value, people love to talk to you.
Yeah. 4 times a year, have an event of some sort that you could be inviting them to. All right, let's go on. This is E to P. So E to P is on page 39 in your red book. Entrepreneurial to purposeful. That's what E to P is, entrepreneurial to purposeful. And it's just a never ending cycle. You'll constantly break through that ceiling, and you'll constantly be at the bottom of the next breakthrough. Breakdown to breakthrough. All right, then the next thing is we have Think Like a Millionaire Real Estate Agent. This kind of goes through the first part of the book as well. And there are 9 ways that we think. We have a couple ways that we foundationally think, with Jose, if you'd read those, I'd appreciate it.
I'm curious about something, Herbert.
Yeah.
Why do you think we start with the thinking first and not the models?
Because when we think about something, we get emotions around it, and then emotions make us take action.
Now, what's the bold law that says, you know, programming, and then how does that work?
Your cells eavesdrop on your thoughts.
Exactly, kind of.
Yeah.
So, guys, the reason why we start with the thinking first is because you gotta have the right programming to take the right action to get the right results. If you don't have the right programming and you take action, you're not gonna get the results you expect. So, I mean, think powered by a big why, thinking big goals and big models, think value and customer service, your standards, we talked about that. Think competitively and strategically. To this point specifically, think about how you can be the most disruptive agent in your area. Okay? Then think action and accountability, think talent systems and standards, which is leverage, think knowledge and skills, think persistence and resilience, and think profit, because we're running businesses, not practices.
No. Strategically and competitively, we've had to do that over the course of the last 2 years. I think that there's some opportunity for us to all dive into what is the strategy we're going to have for 2022. It can be very different. It can look very different. I also wanted to reference inside of your workbooks, we are really at page 6 and 7. Sorry about that. 6 and 7. All right. So thinking is important. And here's another challenge I give you. Do you have in your calendar a quarterly meeting with yourself? Put in your calendar a quarterly meeting with yourself in a very sweet place. Do you like to go to the beach? Do you like to go to the spa? Are you gonna, maybe it's just a quiet backyard afternoon in the spring, but you need to plan 4 planning sessions with yourself. And it looks like a half a day. And then you need to plan for this. This is a nice couple hours, but you need to set 1 more day, 2 more days before the end of the year to really just do an ugly Monday with yourself. Spread out all of the ideas, get a whiteboard, start to draw, get your friend over, do it at the office if you have to, spread out on a table, and start to really get to the nitty-gritty of setting expectations, creating maybe some fun leaderboards of how to keep track of stuff. This is the ongoing process. Why do you think that KW has masterminds quarterly? They have masterminds quarterly because they say, go away for the next 3 months and take the action on these items and come back because we know you're going to forget. Life's going to happen. And so quarterly, it's a great reminder. And so I just encourage you all to figure out, how do you get your thinking time in? There was a little thing that was going on in this women's group, and it was like, what is like personal time? And somebody like 5 minutes in the car in the driveway is my personal time. Closing the door in the bathroom, pretending I'm going to the bathroom is personal time. That shouldn't be, guys. We're running big businesses. We're changing amazing lives. It's okay to say, nope, I'm on my think tank time. Okay. Going on, we have think by a powered big why, think big goals, big models, think action and accountability. And so we're going to roll into
Page 7 and 8.
What?
Page 7 and 8 from the
Yeah.
workbook.
Page 7 and 8 from the workbook. 7 and 8 from the, yes, page 7 and 8. So on page 7 and 8, if you guys would turn to page 7 on your big life, your big why, this is where, Josue, I'd like for you to dive a little into
Sure.
them identifying their big why and going to page 8 and looking at the goal setting to the now.
Of course. Now, guys, this is something that we'll do together, right? When we're thinking about your big why, is beyond the money, what makes you wake up in the morning, make your calls, go to appointments, negotiate contracts, do all these things. What is that if you do it, your life will be much, much better? You want to have a better life for your family. You want to travel every year with your family. What's your big why? And let's start writing it down. Page number 7. Does anybody has any questions?
Well, let's share some whys.
Okay, guys. Anybody wants to share their whys?
paying college tuition for my daughter.
There you go.
Hugo said paying college tuition for his daughters.
Mine is being financially free.
Financially free. What does that mean to you?
It's having a portfolio of properties that is cash flowing every month and having a great portfolio in stocks and ETFs too.
Okay. ATFs.
ETFs.
Oh, what? ETF?
ETF,
Oh, these are
yeah.
ATF. I was like, okay, this guy's from the island running around and his ATVs. That's what I was thinking.
Andy, what you got?
Well,
Big wise, big wise. Let's share it in the chat.
Vacation.
Vacation. Thank you, Karen.
Hey, Karen.
You're welcome.
Karen Kleiman, everybody. What else? What other big whys do we have?
I gotta mute you.
Okay, so for many of us, it's going to be college tuition. It's going to be financial freedom. It's going to be making a huge impact in our community. For some of us, it may be breaking generational chains. Amrit, I see you unmuted. You have a big why you want to share with us? No. She's got a beautiful family though, so I would bet you it has something to do with the family and what you provide.
Now look at this. If you have trouble identifying your big why, here's a model for it. It's your purpose, mission, and need. Fuels you with focus and energy and powers your action. Those are the three things that your big why will have in common.
Think about what lights you up. Have you ever been in a conversation, you start talking about somebody and something and somebody says, oh, I could see your excitement over that. If you ever get me talking about Africa, I love Africa, okay? Peanut butter factory, gonna help the kids, gonna get over there. Aruba, that's big why stuff, guys. Karen, were you gonna share?
What?
Tara saying pay off college debt, pay my kids' college vacation, home, minister, Greece. Love it. She's going to Greece.
Roger.
Be able to leave North Jersey. There you go, Roger.
Roger, where you going, Miami?
Where are you going, You going to Miami? Kelly, Roger's leaving you. I'll come up. Don't worry.
You gotta come on down. Take his place, Mary Beth.
Remember, it's up for me. Okay, so voice texting is okay, Tara. You could be a minister in Greece. I'll be there. Don't worry.
Just for the record, I love Kelly, but the taxes up here are killing me.
They are, right? It's like unnecessary. And then you get hit with the income tax on top of the property tax and we get bamboozled here. It's insane. And guys, for that, you do have to start to think about where's your money work best for you.
Kelly's going to hate me for saying this, but North Jersey's like getting bent over with a 2x4.
Oh gosh, Roger. Kelly, I'm coming in. Kelly, I'm coming in. I'm coming to help you. Okay. I'll be there next Tuesday. All right. Just kidding. All right. No, those things we do have to take. You can make $1 million. And if you're giving away 70% of it a year,
Until Veterans Day.
couldn't we have a better life somewhere else? I mean, and that's where, not to say leave Jersey, and I'm not, Jersey's great, awesome, but we have a lot of things here, benefits for living in Jersey. But if some of you don't have to be in Jersey, is the big why that you want to pick up and get out of state. And Roger, I bet you and Kelly have built a business that Roger can be in a different state if he so chooses, and he can remotely now with this great pandemic that we just had, can remotely consult with his clients, right, Kel?
Yes, absolutely.
So if that makes him happy, and I'm being honest with this, if that makes him happy, let's create that plan for him. Let's say, what does it look like, Raj? Is it 4 years? Is it 2 years? Are you leaving this year?
My wife's got to do 6.5 more years teaching, so I'm guaranteed here for that one.
There you go. So 6.5 years, we have a plan. Kelly, he's out. But you know what? In 6.5 years, Kelly, you may go, I kind of want to go to the next level too. And that would say, who is in your world that you're training up to then replace some of those systems and activities that are being done by you and Roger? Because I can't stand when somebody builds an amazing big business. And I see this, I see this often at other brokerages. They don't have the exit plan and they walk away. They think, well, I'll just take the referrals and I'll refer it to people in my office. And yeah, that won't last very long, because then when everybody finds out that you had no plan and there's all these like 7,000 to 8,000 agents that they could choose from, you're out.
True.
So that's a plug. If you know anybody who is thinking about retiring and they're an agent in our area, invite them to a coffee. Say, hi, I'd love to talk to you about what does that look like. You want to move to Miami? I could be a partner.
I know realtor, man.
You have to do that. That's what we do. We help people retire. So, yeah, you guys need to do that. There's plenty of agents that this pandemic is taking them out of the business. Why not give them a hefty 30% referral on all of the business that they have in their database? Better yet, why not them just give you their database and you call through it? I bet you'll call that database before you call your database.
Even when I was in Miami,
You will.
guys, this is a true story. This year, we recruited 2 people, one from New York and one from New Jersey in my Miami market center. So those are referral partners, and they're still active here, and they're still doing business back and forth.
That's right.
So there's definitely a plan that we can build for you to actually help you achieve that level of production that you want.
That's right. So we are going to do a specific in November 411 class. So I don't want to spend too much time on the actual 411 because I think we should get granular on it. Once you've identified what, and here's the thing, once you've identified what your annual goals are, you have 2 sides of it. You have your annual business goals and your annual personal goals. And when we do the annual personal goals, that I want you to dream big. It's not just, oh, go on one vacation. No, go on a vacation to Greece for 10 days with who? And then find a picture and put it on a board and put it somewhere because be attached to it. So when we identify that I'm going to do 100 transactions next year, I'm going to close 60 transactions. You get real specific in that top annual piece, which in the workbook, it's on page 17 and 18. I will close 30 sellers and 24 buyers. You get specific.
No, and you know, the beautiful thing about the 401 specifically is that you know exactly what you need to do every day to achieve the weekly goal, to achieve the monthly goal, to achieve the yearly goal. It's all connected.
And then you have to just work the plan, and that's where we get challenged. We don't want to work the plan. Okay, so we look at the annual goal, we break it down into monthly, and then we work with this. This is a working document that every single week you should be walking into it, filling out what is the weekly things that you're going to be doing to accomplish the monthly thing that all trickles up to the annual goals. So it's not something where you take your goals for the month and you divide it by 4 and you put it in the weeks. It's you walk into week 1 of the month of November being very clear as to what your objectives are for the week. And if you're able to take those things off of this 411, then you move into the next week not carrying any business over into week 2. And then if you end up at week 3 and you were supposed to have 4 listing appointments and you only had 1, well, guess what? Week 3 and week 4, you're having 3 listing appointments to get your goal. So then it's, what do I need to do in week 3 to really get me in front of at least 3 more sellers in the next week and a half? Well, that's where you go, I don't really do for sale by owners, but guess what? I do for sale by owners this weekend. Because I'm not going to deny my goal. Like, I'm not going to deny myself of this life that I've decided because I've created the big why. Just backwards for 1 second is that someday exercise, which is on page 8, is you need to work backwards. Someday I will be living in Aruba. Page 8. Someday I'll be living in Aruba. Well, what needs to happen in 5 years for me to do that? I need to buy a house every year for 5 years in order to do that. I need to have my passive income working for me here. What do I need to do in 1 year? I need to buy 1 house in Aruba that maybe isn't the forever house, but it gets me into home ownership on the island. Okay, what is the monthly goal? I have a meeting set up with BB, who is the agent on Aruba. What do I have to do weekly? Okay, well, maybe I should confirm the appointment, make sure my schedule is clear. What can I do today? I could text BB and I could look at some properties so that I have things to ask her about. What can I do right now? I can go and put it in my calendar. That is how you work a someday to now goal, to understand that if I would just put it in my calendar, it might be possible someday that I live on Aruba. If I don't even do that and I keep going about my day and I just put the Aruba on the back burner saying, yeah, someday, Josue, I'll get there.
And you, Maribeth,
I may.
You know what? One thing that changed my mindset around this is changing the word goal for commitment.
Commitment. Ooh, I like that.
So someday commitment, 5-year commitment, yearly commitment.
someday commitment.
And truth is, you're committing to yourself. Why are you gonna let yourself down?
Many of you know, I mean, I have, I've for years, since 2013, I've been wanting to do a peanut butter factory in Africa. I have 2 acres in Africa now. It's not a peanut butter factory, but it's it's land that we're farming. We're farming so that we can start to build money up for a building fund, so we can buy the building to put the peanut butter factory in. So if I were to look at that and say, well, someday I'm going to own a peanut butter factory in Africa, well, what do I have to do right now? And the right now action was ask Luca, who's my friend in Africa, to identify land and tell me how much it's going to cost. And that's what I did. And what did he do? He brought me back 3 pieces of land and a building, because he's a big thinker. So he brought me back the building, and I said, I'm not ready for the building. The building was 32,000 and we weren't ready for the building, but the land was 8,000 and we were ready for the land. So I said, take the land and show me what you could do with the land, and then create profits, and that profit will go toward the building funds. And I'm sure when he shows me profits, somebody's going to provide that for me to be able to go ahead and buy that building, or a building like it, right? Because I'm doing the right thing. He's doing the right thing. So understand, business is the same thing, but see how passionate I get when I start talking about that? Figure out what your passion is, guys. I only get to go do that and visit Africa if I work my plan today. Listings, leads, and leverage, okay? That is the name of the game. If you do not have listings, you probably won't last.
And Gary said something. Guys, this is from the MREA book, page 98. He says the 20% the millionaire real estate agent focuses on are the 3 L's: leads, listings, and leverage. You are focusing on key activities that will yield the greatest return for your business. So fact is, these are the 3 things that will help you either grow your business or, I mean, get your business down at all times.
That's right. Listings, leads, and leverage. And I don't mean to be so harsh that if you can't take listings, you're out of the business, but I really need to be like honest with
This
you.
to last.
If you don't go out there and take listings, you are going to have a challenge, especially in the market that we just came from. Was it not a challenge if you didn't have a listing? It was a challenge.
Yep.
It is a challenge. It still is a challenge. And yet we're overcoming it every day. This is making the best real estate agents. This market is making the best real estate agents. It's also going to weed out some agents, and that's okay. However, if you cannot hone in, and I think I just saw David Radney pop over here. If you do not hone in on your listing skills, David, do we have a push listing presentation class coming up anytime soon?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
We sure do. We have it starting up on November 4th, and it's meeting once a week on Thursdays from 11 until 1:30.
What are they going to learn there?
They're going to learn how to go take listings, how to pre-qualify, how to put together a pre-listing packet, learn the listing presentation, soup to nuts, how to overcome common seller objections, and how to close. All the things they need to do to have the 3 L's.
Do you have room in the class?
I do.
Right now. By the time this thing is over, by the time of the end of this day, I expect David to call me to tell me that unfortunately he's got to close the class down because he's over registered.
I love to make that phone call.
No, it's not in person. We are in Bold on Mondays and David is in Push on Thursdays, virtual. Yes. David, you also have another thing happening here at the Ridgewood Market Center on Friday morning. Are you packed for that yet?
I have 5 spaces left.
5 spaces left. What could they register for that? That's here at 9:15 on Friday, which is 2 days from now.
Got it.
Okay, so
send the link in the chat.
Thank you so much. Okay, it's a script and dialogue script off. It's here. It's 9:15. It's live. You get to practice with real people. You're going to talk about what the conversation of a script actually felt like, feels like in person, and I encourage you all. There's only 5 spots left to that. So if you were sleeping on that, I'd register now.
I mean, the fact is, if you feel nervous talking to people, it's because you don't know what to say. And the solution to that is script practice.
That's right. All right. So listings, leads, and leverage. We all get it. If you have a listing, you're going to get the buyers. You don't need buyer leads if you have a listing. And so these are the 5 models. In the book, you will only see 4. This is on page 123, page 123, I believe, is the models. Yes. Page 122 and 123 in the MREA book. are your 4 models. And I just shared with you in the beginning of this, the expansion model. The expansion model is the 5th model. And just want to make sure that is the, oh, okay. And so we are going to go over the economic, the lead gen. We're not going to spend too much on the budget or the organizational, but we're going to follow that up with some other classes. Mostly, if you get the economic and the lead gen down, you're going to be in good shape for the year. Okay. So now, action. The action is, Andy, come on up here.
All right.
I'm going to welcome Andy. You guys have seen Andy around. Andy is tall. He's not short. He sells home warranty. No, Andy is a great partner. I appreciate it.
Oh my goodness.
Andy, go ahead and just share with them.
So let me see. I want to share my screen on my
I don't know if
laptop.
that's going to happen. Is it going to happen? Oh, you're in Zoom? I need to give you access to share then.
There we go. Maybe I can. Oh, host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, hold on. Let me just give it. Andy, go ahead and introduce yourself here, and I'm going to give you screen share.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andy.
Oh, see, he's so tall. He's got to crunch down. That's the problem.
See, okay, that's what I look like over there.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andy. I'm the home warranty guy. I'm with America's Preferred Home Warranty. We are your new home warranty partners. I've been working with a lot of you already for a long time, but I'm going to talk a little bit today about home warranty and how it mixes with buy-side deals, as well as I'm going to talk about a little bit of risk management. Mary Beth told me I only have up to 5 minutes, so I have to be very brief.
Yep.
So,
Jason, go ahead and give Andy, who's the last one on the participants, if you can give Andy some co-host so that he could share his screen. And there's really something in it for you. I use Andy a lot. We like using Andy. We got Andy. All right, come on. Andy, yeah, Andy, does he have screen share?
click more. Maybe that'll do it.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do it.
Okay. Let's see. Screen share.
While I give Andy that, let's get some ahas for the first session. I'm gonna get you to take the ahas.
Guys, what have you learned so far? What's something that is on your mind right now about what we just talked about?
And for me, it's the how she did the someday to now.
Someday to now plan?
And I still trip up on the fact of knowing what the big thing, well, I don't know what the big thing is, but how to break it down to get to where you are, what I should do today.
Got it. So the power of breaking down your goals so you know exactly what you need to do today. Awesome. Guys in Zoomland, Ron, Enya has, Amrita, Enya has. I see Lisa, Fidel, what you got? Oh, I guess you guys are sleeping or something.
No, I was trying to get off mute. Just knowing your commitments, you gotta know what you're committed to, so you know what to take action for. I think knowing what your monthly, what your semi-annual, your annual, your long-term goals are, going in the morning, you know what to wake up for, you know what to go to work for, you know what to get uncomfortable for.
Awesome. Thank you,
So
Ron.
for me, I realized that what was said about, just working off of your natural ability. I feel like that's what I've been doing in the past 4 or 5 years that I've been in the business, but I haven't really ever put a plan on paper to say, this is what I need to have and work backwards from that. And then have the plan feed natural ability. And I think that's my biggest thing, because I'm at a point where I had the greatest year, but I won't be able to double that if I don't change something.
That's right.
Awesome, Rita. Well, today will be the day that you'll have a plan and you'll follow it. That's awesome. Guys, anything else? Yes.
So, I mean, I think for me, I'm glad I came today, but I think it really made me realize I really have to book time with myself and really sit down and really think about what I've done this past year, and then what are the different things I need to do to meet the goals I'm looking for
next year,
2022. But I'm kind of like running fast
Okay.
without giving myself time to really just think and lay out a plan.
So time for reflection.
Yeah, I really need that, and to really plan together a thoughtful plan from what I learned from this past year. And course correct some of the things I did, and then add to, I think, the disruption you were talking about earlier. It was a disruptive year for me, but now I need to take it to the next level and what that means for me.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. All right.
Yeah.
Ready for Andy?
Awesome. Ready for Andy.
All right, cool.
Andy, go ahead and do some screen share.
Okay. So I figured out how to use my computer, which is awesome. Let's see.
You're in now. You can go in here, huh?
Can I put this or?
So I'm gonna just go to my slide.
Oh, we want to see you over here too.
Okay, no worries. All right, so today we're going to talk about the hidden risks of today's market with home buyers, okay? So here are some pretty interesting statistics. 45% of buyers paid full or above asking price. And these are NAR stats from 2021. So since January 1st, 45% of buyers paid full or above asking price. Buyers paid an average of 99% of list price. This is national as well.
Wow.
62% of all homes purchased were at least 20 years old. And shockingly, 43% of buyers have remorse because they compromised on price or condition just to get into the home.
Andy, are you going to give us that slide?
Sure.
Okay, great.
So here's some more interesting stats. 45% of buyers financed at least 90% of the home purchased. 50% of all homes sold within 2 weeks since January 1st.
Oh my gosh.
And here's another shocking one. 66% of Americans who bought homes recently have a regret with that transaction.
66.
66%. Now, here's another one.
So prospecting your past clients might be challenging.
True.
But you may get a listing.
Yeah, you may get a listing.
Well,
The good news is the numbers are still up.
the numbers are up. The numbers are up. So, matter of fact, 75% of home buyers said that they would do anything to get the home, including waiving inspection or purchasing the home warranty. And 7 out of 10 of those home buyers will have major system failures in their first year. So these are all interesting statistics, but it's one of those situations where a lot of steps were skipped by a lot of home buyers since the beginning of the year just to get into the house that they're in right now. So being as though 7 out of 10 of them will have major systems failures in their first year, it's very important for those home buyers to have a home warranty on these homes. And as the agent who sold them these houses, or are going to continue selling these houses, of course, it's a reputation protection. Okay. When these people have those buyer remorses, at the very least, it won't be because of the systems that are in the house, right? So you see a lot of home buyers having systems failures the night they move in. It happens every single day. Okay. Plumbing problems, electrical problems, heating problems, the whole gamut. So whenever they have a systems failure, we're going to let you know. We're going to give you that update. Kelly, the home buyer had a air conditioning systems failure. Now, I talk about air conditioning. When the temperature goes below 60 degrees, the home inspector can't test the AC, right? So for a good portion of the year, your clients won't know when they turn on the AC for the first time in the summer if their central air conditioning is going to work. So there's tons of risk with these transactions. So please make sure that you're covering, your clients are receiving coverage by talking about home warranty on your transactions. And of course, I'm always around when you have those questions.
But what's in it for me?
Well, risk reduction.
Yeah.
When a home warranty is on a transaction,
Yes.
it's 8 times, the home buyer is 8 times less likely to file a lawsuit. 8
And
times
how long
less
does it
likely.
last? Like it lasts the whole length of the listing.
For a whole year. For the home buyer, you told me to talk about one.
Oh, yeah,
I can
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about,
yeah.
I can only talk about one side of the transaction today because I'm going to come back next time and talk about the sellers.
Okay.
Just following instructions, Mary Beth. Just following instructions. So Also, your market center actually, if you submit data collection after the home is included with a home warranty on that transaction, your markets. Thank you. If you submit data collection after a home warranty is included on one of your transactions, your market center will cut you a check for $50 on all of those transactions that have a data collection form submitted. So that's a little extra from your market center. So I'm going to put my information in the chat bar. If you all ever have any questions, please do let me know. And I'm just going to go sit down and learn more from Mary Beth now.
And that's part of your value proposition as an agent.
Yeah.
Who are you surrounding yourself with? What kind of services can you provide to your customers? So even your standards are way higher.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know I bust on him, but he's really great. And listen, he aligns with great professionals. So yep, there is a $50 in there for you as an agent when you do close one of those. And you are going to hear from Andy maybe next week on the seller opportunity as well. What is data collection form? Maybe you can send out the data collection form. Is it a one-sheeter?
It's a one-sheeter.
Okay, it's a one-sheeter that you have to submit to the market center. And please understand that this is probably coming through all of your messages from your broker, your specific broker for your market centers, that having the home warranty put on properties is going to be part of what gets us a better deal when, if God forbid something were to happen and you had an E&O claim, if the home warranty was purchased
Or waived.
or waived, because some of the clients don't want it, and that's okay. If it was presented, it's going to give us there'll be a perk as far as the, what's it called, the deductible and the E&O claim that is put out there. So it should be a standard in your business moving forward, not just because we love Andy, but because we want to protect ourselves and our clients and our files and our licenses. Okay. Same thing, guys, with your home, with your seller's disclosures and whatnot. If you don't have one on file, it would be great for you to just put it in writing to that homeowner. I'm understanding that you are not putting a seller's disclosure, because then it looks like maybe did you not ask for it? And then you get into a situation where there's a lawsuit about something that wasn't disclosed. And do you have any proof that that seller told you that they are not filling one out? You can also just have them sign a blank one, and you do not sign the seller's disclosure. You do sign the lead-based paints. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So we have a PDF that we can show our clients, Andy. So maybe we can get some information out and we can post it out today.
I'll upload it to the chat box.
Okay, perfect. And then Jason, you can take that stuff and we'll be sharing it as well. Okay. All right. So let's just move on. We have another 30 minutes. We're going to roll into the numbers. So the economic model, and I'm going to ask all of you to go to what page inside of their
It's
packet.
10.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. So, guys, when we talk about the economic model, the interesting part is that everybody has an economic model. It's just that probably it's not as effective. It doesn't get you the profit that you like, or simply there's no way with your economic model to actually grow your business.
And can I just say one thing though?
Bring it up.
Because we talked about the big why, and we talked about like your financial, like what do you need, your business plan. But I also want to stretch your brain a little bit. On Friday mornings at 8:30, there is Wealth Building with Mark King. Friday mornings, yeah. And I listen to it all every week because he talks a lot about our economic engine, okay, which is where all the money's coming in and going out. But what it's attached to is our financial thermostat. So like what do we think is possible for ourselves? So when you do the economic model, and this is where I challenge you to think a little bit bigger, don't compare yourselves to this linear growth. We want to say, what is available to me out there? What piece of the pie should I have? And then you make the plan to go after it. I know that you might go, oh, I got to remove the limiting beliefs in order to get there. But I want you to understand that what you think is possible for you to be earning is gonna make this whole thing be what it is. Okay. If you say like, oh gosh, I personally never came from a family that earned more than $100,000 a person ever. Like mom's a teacher, dad worked 3 jobs. Grandma worked 3 jobs, and one of them was cleaning the church basement. I mean, my grandfather was a carpenter. So nobody in my family has ever made a 6-figure earning. So do you not think that my thermostat was like, wow, if I make 6 figures, I've made it? That's probably a lot of us, guys. And we're New Jersey, we're America. We are a melting pot of immigration that, you know what, some of our parents or grandparents or great grandparents, 20,000 might have been a lot in a year. So sometimes we go to ourselves, okay, what is my thermostat? What do I even think is possible? It may be because I haven't put myself in the room with others that have attained that for me to think it's possible for me. But I want to encourage you, just like when I was a new agent, my first broker used to say, come on, girls, let's go to some broker opens. Let's get real confident with ourselves. Look around, look who's selling real estate. You could do it. So I just want to encourage you that when you put that number on the paper, it should probably be bigger than what you're putting, but check yourself because you may be the person that's limiting what you think is possible for you to earn.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
My goal is to earn $1 million a year. My mom and my sister laugh at that. That means it's a great goal, right? A great commitment. Because if it's laughable, if people are laughing at it, you know it's good. If they're not even laughing, they're like, yeah, okay, you're going to make 200,000, good for you. You should. So I just want you to think a little bit bigger. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That was awesome. Guys, as Maribeth said, this economic model basically tells you where your money will come from, how would you expense it out, and then how much you want as profit. Now, we see it also, another name that it has is 30, 30, 40. Now, those are benchmarks, right? We're benchmarking 30% going exclusively to operating expenses, 30% going to cost of sale. Now, cost of sale, it's just an expense that only happens when you close a deal, meaning you're split with the market center. Meaning if you're in a team, if you have a team, the portion that you pay the buyer's agent on that team, or the portion that you pay the listing agent on that team, or your transaction coordinator cost, that's also a cost of sale because it only happens when you close something, right? So
let's talk about that for a second.
Let's put a pause on that.
Yeah, cost of sale.
Most of us have never tracked this before.
Yep.
It happened to me, you know, in the very, very beginning. You gotta be really smart and truly differentiate what's an operating expense, what's an expense that you need to run your business, and what's something that you only pay when you close a deal.
Yeah. So page 131 in your red book is the economic model. If you want to reference that, and you should read through it to understand it. And it's going to have you think about some things about your appointments and whatnot. However, cost of sale, when you are a single agent, like we started talking, you are the cost of sale. The business that you do, the commissions you get, you're the cost of sale. So if you had a buyer's agent and the buyer's agent is running with one of your buyers, let's say, and let's just say they're on a 50% split with you, you're sharing that deal, that cost of sale to you is 50% on that transaction. Plus the brokerage fee, the royalty fee, if you're still paying, because we cap. I like to call that a contribution. Max contribution of 3,000, a max contribution of your cap, because it stops. It's a set cost, but it is a cost of sale. It only happens when you close a transaction. Okay, referral fees. You send out all these referral fees. I love an agent who does 10 million and then wants to know, wait, why did I only make this much money? Well, because all of your business came from referrals. Karen Kleiman was on here, and I'm not sure if she still is. A lot of her business comes from referrals. I would bet you if I was sitting and doing the business planning with Karen, I would have to assume 75% of the commission is going to her and 25% is going out to everywhere else in the country that she gets referrals from. So we don't think about that, and then it has to fit in. So are you anticipating to do referral business? If you're not, shame on you, because we're in Jersey. We're the Jersey connection. We're the New York connection. You should be putting yourself out there. Ohio, California, Montana, everybody needs a Jersey connection. Go be it. Okay. And there's like 200,000 agents to go after that are with KW. And it doesn't have to be KW. You could be the referral agent. Why would we be the referral agent for North Jersey? Because we dominate North Jersey. I showed you guys yesterday on the BCP call. Keller Williams brand dominates NJ MLS by almost 30%, which means they should know you. They should do business with you. We own the market. Now, here's what this says to me, because I'm going to go, you guys could do better than that. Okay. You should have 50% of the market. We should own 70% of the market. We should only leave a little piece for everybody else that maybe wants to get into the business and then come to Keller Williams later. But anyway, and so that's me taking a look at the whole pie and saying, okay, great, guys, you have 28%. Can we get to 35 next year? And I'm going to say, no. Can we get to 50? Like, what part should we have? With the amount of agents and how powerful and smart and amazing you guys are, we should have 50% of that market share. So let's go get it.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
So economic model.
Here's how we see it, guys. At the same time, this 30-30-40 is not a right. It's a privilege. It's truly a privilege to net this amount of money. Now, are you being truly responsible with your numbers? Are you being truly responsible with your expenses, with your cost of sale?
So what are expenses?
Expenses are things that you pay to run your business.
So
like
operating expenses, basically, right? So if you were to say, what are your set monthly expenses? Oh, well, I pay for this product and I get, what do you have? A Vulcan 7 account. What's another marketing account that maybe you're paying for? Oh, I have a cyber backer and they're like maybe 1,500 or so. So those are set expenses. Those are your expenses. Those are your operating expenses. That's 30. The other 30 is the cost of sale, which right now, if you're a single agent, your biggest cost of sale is going to be your CAC. And if you're Karen Climate, your biggest cost of sale is going to be your referrals. Okay, so you just, I mean, the other day I saw a referral check come in for $9,000, not on Karen's, but a referral check come in for $9,000.
That's great.
Yeah, that was great. Okay, so. The summer I saw a referral check come in for $80,000. A large commercial building that was referred to in Manhattan, it closed, and the referring agent got $80,000. Okay, so we got to think about what's possible out there. She never thought that was coming in, and then it came in, and it was like, oh my gosh, this check just came in. Great. Okay. So operating expenses versus cost of sale. You have to get very clear on that. But the book says you're going to spend about 60% of your money on that stuff. And you're going to bring into you net to you 40%. Now, understand you are now, if you're a single agent, or if you're an active agent, Kelly Weber is an active agent inside of her business. So she actually is a piece of her cost of sale. If we were to look at the business, Kelly and Roger are probably the biggest cost of sale in the agent business of your expenses, but it is a cost of sale because then Kelly and Roger are owners of a team, and then they would take the profits of the team. Okay, and I know I'm getting some deer in headlights faces looking at me right now. I get it. It's just we have to remove ourselves out of I'm an active agent. I'm an agent versus I'm running a business.
So her own would be an expense or a cost of sale?
A salary would be an expense, and that's something else that we move to, right? As you guys decide on your business, you may say, I am an active agent in my business. I like to just pay myself a set fee of $5,000 a month. I pay myself $3,000 a month, okay? And all of your money could be going into that business account. You could be paying yourself a salary of $3,000 a month. And the rest of the commissions, because now you're talking about you have an agent on your team that you're paying a salary, which happens all throughout the country. I put you all on salaries, the commissions are coming in, and what's left over after you get your salary, I pay my expenses, is my profit. So it's just a different way of looking at it. So you're actively, and this is when I'm talking with, and this is on a little bit of a higher level, but for some of us who have relationships with independent owners out there, independent companies, a lot of times an independent company might be a family-owned operation. Dad, his son, mom's doing the books. Okay, when we start to dissect those kinds of businesses, hands down, I start showing that owner that you'd be better off working inside of our brokerage because it's costing you out of your own money, out of your own profits to run this business. So I know this is a little bit deeper than we were going to get here on this, but I want you to really think about my business. What does it look like? Who is in it? Where does the money get allocated? How much am I spending? And we'll go deeper. We'll go deeper if we have to. And this, I want your feedback because as a BCP, the director of productivity for BCP, I want to bring you guys amazing classes in 2022. And I want to do that for all of us, not just for our coaching family, which I love our coaching family. We have some special things coming up for them, but I want to hear back from you guys as to what you would like. We have a call every single morning that we do that is on scripts and role play and dialogue, and it's only 30 minutes out of the day. And I encourage all of you to get on it. But I want to hear feedback from you all as to what you'd like to see in 2022 to help you move the needle forward to your goals.
Just a quick
Commitments.
clarification,
Mhm.
royalty.
Royalty.
6% royalty.
Yes.
That's cost of goods.
That is a cost of sale and it stops at 3,000. So if you were to set up your business plan, you could just cap it. You could put it in as an expense and just put it as 3,000. You know it's going to be 3,000. Understand, everybody who makes over $50,000, it's going to cap at 3,000. When you bring 50,000 in commission in, 50,000 times 6% is 3,000. That's when your royalty goes away. So you make beyond 50,000, you are not paying royalty on anything over 50,000 for the year. Okay.
How about a transaction coordinator?
Transaction coordinator. What kind of expense is a transaction
Expense. not
coordinator?
cost of
It's an
sale.
expense. It's not a cost of sale.
Well,
What about photos? An expense, not a cost of sale.
transaction coordinator, if you pay it only when you close the deal.
You don't only pay it when you close a deal. You're gonna pay that girl. If that deal doesn't go together, you're gonna have to pay her for her time.
Well, things are
I don't
different
know
here.
though. I mean, listen, oh, Miami.
Miami, I'm
I
familiar
guess
with
in
that.
Miami, you only pay if you close. Here, if you're working hours, you're getting paid.
That's right.
So that's the difference
That's
though.
like 3 times more expensive.
That's how you have to ask yourself, if this doesn't close, do I have to pay it?
Hmm.
If it's no, you don't, then it is a cost of sale. Do I have to pay this if it doesn't close? Nope, then it is a cost of sale. Otherwise, it is an operating expense. Now,
Let's break it down a little bit.
mhm,
I know you wanted to do the board, right?
yeah, they're probably not gonna see it though.
No?
No.
Okay, so let's start with a net income of $1 million. Let's just do it at a big scale, and then we'll go ahead
Sure, fair,
and go half of it. We'll start with $1 million net income. Note that we started with the net. That's the same process you guys will go through with your net income, with the desired income. Let that net income dictate the activities. Okay?
That's right.
Don't let your activities dictate your net income.
So even if the net income was 100,000, the total GCI would have been 250,000. Okay, so understand that net income, that net is 40% of the whole. 40% of the whole.
Right?
Now, if you are on a team, you are still going to put your net income that you would like to have there. You're still going to have some operating expenses, possibly your MLS fee, maybe very minimal. You're still going to have a cost of sale because you're paying into the company dollar and you're paying into the cap. So in my opinion, I would really just go ahead and put, if you are on a team, I'm expecting that you're going to hit 3,000 in the cost of sale for your cap, for your royalty. I'm also assessing that you're going to hit the half cap if you're on a team that the market center has put out for you. So let's just say, I'm just going with numbers. Let's say it's 17,000 and 3,000. I'm a buyer's agent where my cap is 17,000 as a half and I pay 3,000 in royalty. I'm going to go ahead and put in the cost of sale, $20,000. And I'm going to put in the operating expenses, maybe $2,000 because I pay for my own E&O, my own MLS, but that's it because my Rainmaker provides pretty much all of the marketing and stuff. Or maybe I do some extra marketing and I put about 2,000. So now I put 5,000 in operating expenses. If you're a buyer's agent, your cost of sale plus operating expenses are not going to be 60%.
Yeah.
Okay, you're just going to plug in what those numbers are. So if you said, hey, I'm a buyer's agent and I want to net 100,000, I would most likely say you probably need to tack on, let's say 40,000 at most as a set cost to add to your net income so that you can clear out what you want. So if I'm a buyer's agent, I want to make 100,000, I'm probably making a plan for a total GCI of 140 or 150 to go ahead and cover. And the goal is to get to a point where you know what your total GCI is. Often what happens is an agent will say, well, I want to make 400,000, and they go put 400,000 in the total GCI mark, not realizing that you're going to probably walk away with 250,000 to 400,000. So if the goal is to hit 400,000, we probably have to make 600. And I just want to be clear, it's okay if you go for 6 and you make 2, and is that going to hit your goal? I don't know. You just have to decide. Kath?
One other question with net income. Net
Yeah.
income is before taxes.
Net
right?
income is before your own tax bracket. I can't assess, and Gary Keller's not going to assess what tax bracket you're at or what you do with your money and how you move it around. Maybe you send it off to the Cayman Islands, who knows, right? But
You go through that in the budget model.
I'll do that in the budget model, yes, but this, to Kathy's point, is you are not putting in what you're gonna pay the government. This money will be taxable income at the end of the day. Net income is taxable net income. So
Then you have the 30% operating expenses and 30% cost of sale, as we went ahead and talked about.
sure, and so for people that are at that level, I know I saw Claudia before, Orly, Kelly, maybe Paula. There's other agents that are on here as well that have a business where that is gonna be your model. What did I just do? Goal would be learning things every day. Hey, I want to make $1 million. So that means we're probably going to have to really drum up this machine to crank in 2.5 million, because my buyer agents and my referrals are going to cost me about 750,000.
Listing agents.
My listing agents, my buyer agents, everybody's going to eat off that 750. Kelly, I'm looking at you again for a second. Roger and I got to split the 1 million. 750 goes out to the buyer's agents and the listing specialists. And the operating expenses include her marketing, her office maintenance, admins, anybody who's on a set salary that regardless if we have a good year or bad year, they're paying. And that's what it looks like. So now they say, as the Rainmakers, guys, we got to make this machine make 2.5 million so everybody can hit their goals. So now we take that 2.5 and we understand, what is your average commission? For some of us, it's 10, some of us it's 5, some of it's 15. What is the average commission? Now, if you're a buyer's agent, I'm going to urge you to put what your average commission is after you split it with your Rainmaker. There's 2 ways to do it. You either split it here or you split it somewhere else in this. The math has to be split. You know what split you're on. So you just have to apply your split to whatever the average commission is for your team. So if your team's commission is 10,000 and you're on a 50-50, I would put my average commission as a buyer's agent on Kathy's team is 5,000. And I got to make 140 to take home 100. So boom, do the math. I probably have to do 25 deals or so, right? Okay, so this is where we're getting to.
Yeah, so in this case, we did 7,150 as average commission amount. And with the GCI and the average commission, we get the total units, which is 350. Now, an MREA business, an average, yields about 50% buyers, 50% sellers. Why? Because from every listing, you should take at least 1 to 2 buyers, right? If you actually market it properly.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go half and half, starting with the seller side. Okay, we get 50% sellers. That gives us a total of 175 listings that you need to sell. Now, you spoke earlier, Maribeth, about a specific spot in the economic model where you can actually make more money improving something.
Yeah. So we are on page 10 in the workbook. So I just want to talk to you for a second. 2 spots on this workbook. Well, average commission, it got decided by before. Okay, so the average commission, what is the average commission working off of? It's actually that number. That's the number that we can change. What's the average commission work off of? What's the math?
Well, you know, 2% of your sales of your volume could be your average commission, right?
Right. Okay. Thank you. So it works off of, the average, the price times the commission rate. So the 500,000 times the 2.5%. Right? How do we change the 2.5% to 3%? You get listings and you control it.
You have the right conversation.
You have the right conversations. You practice your scripts on protecting your commission. You role play only for 30 days with a partner. The listing presentation at the point where they say, "What's your commission?" And we choke, or we look and we go and we point to the paper, or we don't know what to say. That right there, David, I see you on. David, I'm sitting at the table with the seller. What can I do to get that commission up? What is one thing that you think I can do to get that commission up?
I think the best thing you can do is work on it before you're even sitting at the table with the seller by providing value beforehand,
Yes.
right? Pre-qualifying, pre-listing packet, having a planned listing presentation. That's what you do up front, right? But when you're sitting at the table to get your commission up, you need to know how to defend it, like you were saying earlier. And a lot of times it just boils down to saying no, any other questions when they want you to lower your commission, right?
I'm sorry, I can't do that. What else is important to you?
That's right. Commission's not negotiable. Any other questions and move on. That's the biggest thing you can do is just say no. And a lot of times when you say no, they're like, well, okay, let's sign the paperwork.
Yeah, put me to work.
David, you just said something powerful, and Gary says this all the time. Price only becomes important in the absence of value.
Amen.
Do you know your worth? Do you know what value you bring to the table? Do you know your value proposition? If you're able to convey these 100% in a powerful way, you shouldn't be having issues with negotiating your commission.
That's right. So right there is the first spot. And easily, when I was an agent and go into some listings, I would just say to them, my commission is 3%. Now let's decide what we're going to offer out to the buyer broker. Oh, okay. I thought you were 5%. No, I'm only 3. So we just got to decide what we're going to offer out. Do you want to do 3%, 2.5%? I suggest 3. What do you think?
Love it.
That's it. And if they're like, well, okay, well, you want to offer out 2, I can't do that. Here's the market, 2.5. Now we're at a 5.5% listing. You protected your side. David also just put the link in there for the push registration is specific on listings. Okay. Also the other spot, we mentioned the one side, which is the commission percentage, but what's the other part of that equation?
The volume.
The volume, the listing price. So we've all been blessed. As you've heard, some of us have had our best years ever. BCP overall is having their best financial year ever. And when we look at the market's inflated, no? It went up really fast. That means our commissions went up really fast. That means our income went really fast. Well, imagine that happened in your own personal business every single year because you targeted higher price point. Or you bid into a neighborhood that you were like, I really want to get some $700,000-$800,000 listings. I really want to break the $1 million threshold. So you start putting focus. What you focus on expands, and you start focusing on those areas. Somebody have something to share? No? Okay. I thought I heard somebody. So price point is one way, and you target that market and you figure out how to get into that market with all the same activities that you're doing inside of the lower market. You know, when you look at a market and there's 2 humps, I did this with the Zamir group. There's 2 humps. There's the first hump that has the most units in the market sold. And then there's another hump that has the most units, second most units in the market sold. Well, the first one is usually the bread and butter of the neighborhood. Maybe it's the 4 to 600,000, but the second bump might be the 6 to 8. Go there, find that section of the same town that you've been working in, because if you've mastered the 4 to 6, those people are going to move to the 6 to 8. And so it just makes sense that you're learning those products because they go together. Okay, so those are the 2 places that you can make more money, is in protecting your commission and in raising your average price points.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Then we're calculating an average of 70% sold conversion rate, which will tell us exactly how many appointments, how many listings we need to take. We need to take 250 listings. Then we calculated a 75% conversion ratio between appointment held and listing taken, which through the powerful conversations that you can go ahead and have with the seller, you'll be able to improve, giving us a total of 333 listings appointments held in a year.
Now, do you think you're going to do that all by yourself? 333 listing appointments?
No way.
Is it possible?
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's possible. I know people that do it. And guess what? That's their only focus. They're a listing specialist and they go on listing appointments and they get listings and they bring them back for the team. And then somebody at the team is marketing them, and buyer agents are going and doing open houses, and buyer agents are going to show properties, and show agents show properties, but listing agents just go on listing appointments. So there's 365 days in a year. If I went on 2 listing appointments a day, I could bang this out in 160 days. If that is my only focus, do you not think that if I went on 333 listing appointments, that this machine would, even if it got somewhere close to 2 million, it's going to happen. Has anybody gone on 333 listing appointments in 2021 yet on this call? Has anybody gone on 100 listing appointments on this call? I challenge you. I challenge you to get in front of 100 sellers. That is only 8 a month, guys. That is 8 sellers a month. If you go out there and you say, I'm going to meet 8 sellers a month, this is where then you do have to work the under the rock. I'm going to go to that first sell by owner. Hey, this old expired in my neighborhood. I'm going to stop by there, drop off a packet. Oh, and I was talking to this guy over at the gas station the other day. He may need to sell his house. Let me go drop him off a pre-listing packet. Oh, where is he? He's at the gas station. So go there. You know, are you committed? Are you committed? Commitment is such a good word, because are you committed to making it happen? There's a million ways that we can do this. But we also have a million excuses as to how we can't. So to Josue's point before, the 50-50, the market is 50-50. I said this last year, the market is 50-50. I always thought, oh, a healthy business, 70-30, 60-40. The market is 50-50, right? We can agree that when a listing closes, there's a buyer who bought it.
Yeah.
So there was 2 sides for that unit. So why is our business good when it's 70-30? It just means that you are missing a whole bunch of buyer business. Honestly, I say to that agent, where's your buyer business? I look at the listing, I look at the stats, and I might say, and I'm just going to say, I look at Holly's business and I go, well, Holly, you had 10 closed listings, but you only closed 2 buyers. Where did the other 8 buyers go? Or better yet, where did the other 18 buyers go? And she goes, oh, I was just so busy taking the listings. I don't know, whatever. Did she create a system? And I'm not saying Holly did that, because Holly's awesome. We love Holly. But did she create a system to catch those buyers who really may have been the C or B buyers? Or how about better yet, there's somebody on this call that would have said, hey, I'll go show properties for you. I'll be your show agent for this client or that client. I'll be your buyer's agent, even though you might not have a team right now, but you're at that point in the business that it's that messy middle that you don't have everything all together. But I promise you, if you have 10 listings closed, you're going to lose buyer deals, because I was that agent that said, oh my God, I need an assistant now and a buyer's agent because I can't handle the leads that are coming in off of the listings. So you should have a 50-50 buyers sold, buyers listed. And when we work backwards, these are personal conversion ratios. Andy?
I'm sorry, I have to ask a question.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of successful listing agents that are those ratios.
Successful listing agents that have those kind of ratios, 70% listings, 80% listings.
Yeah, so.
Yes.
And they have buyer's agents that work for them.
They have buyer's agents that work for them. Do they really work for them? Okay.
Well, this is
so,
what I'm gonna ask the question. They have the buyer's agents that work for them, and they have assistants / transaction coordinators, whatever you want to.
Okay.
So where is the drop off happening? Is it the system?
So here's what I just challenge. I mean, it could be the system, it could be the leadership. Everybody's got to have a DNA on it. I'm not going to say, oh, it's the buyer's agent, they're not doing their job. That's not it.
Okay.
There's probably a little bit of that. There's probably a little bit of the rainmaker not holding them accountable. There's probably a little bit of, oh, I don't want to micromanage, they're doing good. Hey, it's better that we close these few deals than nothing, right? There's some complacency sometimes. And I don't want to make assumptions, but I would have to sit with that agent and say, why are you so listing heavy? And you seem to have some buyer agents that work in your business. Let's now look at the buyer agents. Maybe they're missing something.
Right.
They're loyal. They love you. They want to work with you. They love the team concept. Are they getting the leadership from you? Are they getting encouraged to go out there and create their own leads too? Because that's a whole nother conversation. If you are on a team, and please guys, if you're on a team, hear me on this. Your responsibility is to also lead generate, like that rainmaker has built a business and they're providing leads for you as well. It's a partnership. If you were to look at this economic model, and I want you to understand something. If you were to look at the economic model and you say to yourself, the single agent is the most profitable place to be. Kelly, can we take you back when you were just a single agent, right? It was all profit for Kelly, right?
Yes.
Now you have a
Absolutely.
lot of people you have to make sure that you are taking care of. And taking care of is not making sure they got their business and they got their leads. I might have to give them tough love sometimes.
Correct.
But if the business is not built and if the business does not create the GCI that you desire for it to, somebody's got to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
It's not
maybe
me.
Is it Roger? Roger said he'll go. Roger's out.
Roger's not going either.
Right. It's not going to be you or Roger because you're the foundation of the business. And you can whittle it right back down to just 2 admins and the 2 of you could crank out efficiently.
Correct.
But I'm sure it's more fun and it's a vision for them to bring people into their business and let it live on and grow. And so then you have to have a heart to heart with those buyer agents. What do they really want? Are they in alignment with what your expectations are? Are they in alignment with where the growth of your company is going? And there are some people that you understand where they are, you meet them where they are, you value them, and you just say, okay, this is what I'm getting from this one. Now, then you have to question, is this going to ruin the rest of them? Because if I got 4 that are go-getting and they want to come in and lead generate together and go circle prospecting and door knocking, and then I got 1 that goes, I do what I do. Do the other 4 go, well, but he does whatever he wants. So I think we're doing good. So high five to us.
So is that why they sometimes do?
Cal?
Okay, sorry, I was just gonna say, one of the things through our MAPS coach, we need to hold everybody to the same standard. We cannot have everybody held to different standards. So yeah, if they're not lead generating, if they're not bringing in the business, then they have to go.
That's right. Question is, have we established our standards?
Exactly.
Right. That's what it is. And we have to ask ourselves, did we establish our standards? I ask you this of your whole entire life. If there's a part of your life that is falling apart, or you're not happy with it, or it's less than a 10, have you established standards there? Have you established relationship standards, friendship standards, eating habit standards, have you financial standards? Then you could talk about your business standards. Do you have a budget for your house? You don't have a budget for the house, but you're trying to put a budget for the business. Don't worry, we're not even in November yet. We have 2 years to get our act together. I'm with you guys. I'm with you.
That's a great one.
Anything that you need, we can provide. I'm telling you right now, I want the feedback between, with David here, I have Arlene and Kathy here, Josue is here. We are willing to bring whatever classes you feel you need in the next 2 months to get your plan rock solid. You just let us know and we'll make it happen. Okay? Perfect. All right, so now going back, I'm gonna wrap this up here. Economic model. I encourage all of you to get with a peer partner, get with your team leader, get with your coach to complete this. Do it yourself. It's on page 10. Do it yourself. I think the blank one is somewhere in the back.
I'd like to add something.
20, page 20 is the blank one.
Fidel, I'm gonna call you really quick. Remember we did this exercise together, right? Could you unmute yourself and tell everybody how do you feel after we finish with that, and what benefit did doing this exercise together brought to your business?
I mean, it definitely opened my eyes to see that it is possible to reach my goal because it broke it down to simpler form. And because of it, I've been on top, making my calls in the morning and then making sure, I'm doing what I have to do to get to my goal.
There you go. It brings you a lot of clarity.
Clarity.
Thank you for sharing, Fidel.
I love it. Thank you. Okay, so here we are, economic model. Okay, good. Behavior, performance, investment outcomes, right? Time, cost, operating, it all kind of comes together there. 30, 30, 40, reiterating that, operating, got that down pat, I'm pretty sure. Once again, this is like do you have anything to say about this?
I love this one.
He loves this one.
Right. Look at this, guys. So it tells you exactly, where the money comes from, then how you split it, and then the cost of sale. Now, at this point, you having $1 million team, see that the buyer cost of sale is way higher than the listing cost of sale.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why this happens is that buyers agents are most likely at 50-50 with you. Okay, that's why it's much higher. And normally a listing agent, on average, you can see that that's 10% of the total GCI. That listing agent is his only priority on the team is going to appointments, taking listings, going to appointments, taking listings, go to appointments, take listings. Okay, that's why it's different. That, to me, that was extremely fascinating in the beginning. You want to add something to that?
No, I think it's perfect. And then you can see the difference right there between putting people on salary versus they're on commission. Okay, and also, I'm going to tell you, rainmakers, don't be having a limiting belief that people won't do certain things. Oh, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to work for that? Yeah, there are people that, yep, they will work for a flat salary and a little bit of maybe a commission boost when they get that listing closed. Don't make assumptions for people. You just create amazing environments that satisfy. Hi, Cindy, come on in. You just make amazing environments that satisfy people's needs and you empower people, okay? Commission rates. We talked about this and there's the blank one. So we are gonna move on to, I don't know why this goes again.
That's half of it. That's how 500,000.
Yeah, okay, so let me just get you through here. This one here is the $500,000. And this tells you that you have to, with that average sale price, with a commission of 68, so you're probably doubling it, probably breaking that in half. 130 seller appointments. Think about this in Bergen County. What if it was 65 seller appointments in the year? That's probably what you got to do. 6 to 12 listing appointments a month to make a machine crank like that. But 6 listing appointments a month, that's healthy. 2 appointments a week, that's healthy. I know I keep referencing my first broker, but she was telling me 4 appointments a week or freak out. And if you can't find 4, if you don't have 4 appointments, go find them. Go door knock, go do an open house, go set up some showings after the open house. I was very attached to 4 appointments a weekend. Otherwise, I'm going to let her down. And that is what drove me for my first year or 2.
Accountability.
Yeah. Not that she was even checking. All right, action. Aha. Let's talk about that. What ahas do we have? I need to hear 3 ahas for us to move on. 3 ahas. Can you stay for lead generation? We'll come back at 12:30.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 ahas. Come on. We talked a lot about good stuff there. Where is my, why can't I get to the,
Guys, you want to share something here?
there it is.
Hugo, you got some.
Did you want us to yell these out for the 3 ahas?
I do.
Okay, the one that I love is the price only becomes important in the absence of value.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. 2 more ahas. We're gonna be breaking for lunch and then we're gonna come back for 1 more hour.
I really like the one about your clients are only loyal to your standards.
Your clients are only loyal to your standards, says Hugo. I love that. 1 more aha.
Can I share?
Yes, please.
Just looking at my numbers and being very realistic about where I am, that's a big aha for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a burning desire to share?
I think Andy.
Andy just loves us. All right. So here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave this on. I'm gonna come back here at 12:35. 12:35. We're gonna be back on. And I know we said we were gonna be at the budget, but we are at lead gen. So I urge you to come back. We will go fast through the budget model, and we're gonna spend a little time on the lead gen.
And guys, we'll be talking about the MOFR on the lead generation model.
Yeah, the MOFR.
MOFR.
Okay. All right. So guys, I'll see you back in 30 minutes. So 12:35, we will come back. Jason, if you don't mind finding a clock, 12:35. Go take a break and we'll be back. And we're back. You found it? Oh, good. I lost my earring, guys. We're back. Okay, it's 12:36. We're gonna give everybody a few minutes. Let's go. 100 listings a year. I see for Jim Klimko, he's gonna do it. 100 listing appointments a year. Offer high commission to the buyer agent. That's Ron Lagashi putting a plug in for all buyer agents. Make sure you offer out the 3% for all buyer agents is what Ron is saying.
Around 5% of buyers.
Oh, 5% of buyer agents. Okay, everybody give. And we may go into a market. I mean, there was a market there where we're starting to offer out more commission to the buyer's agents, was what was getting your houses shown. When we go through that market where it's really a 6-month listing might get you there. When you get into that market, that's where then you have to incentivize the buyer's agents, and what might incentivize is just money. Nothing else is going to incentivize them except for 3% plus a $5,000 bonus to get this house sold.
Yeah.
Some of our agents have not seen that kind of market.
One of the biggest luxury agents in Miami, he has a commission plan in his listing presentation, and he goes ahead every time when he discusses this, and he says, "Mr. Seller, so I have 3 plans of commissions. The first one is 6%, the second one is 7%, and the third one is 8%. And every single tier has different things."
Sure, menu of services.
Yeah.
That's a menu of services, guys. You are welcome to create a menu of services. And I like what he said. If I give you an option and put it in the chat or unmute yourself of 6, 7, or 8, which one would you choose?
6.
6, 7? I mean, I'm only giving you an option of 6, 7, or 8. You don't get to choose 5. You don't get to choose 4.5. That wasn't an option.
Those are standards.
Those are your standards. Love it. Okay.
No,
All right. I think
saying yes.
Heidi, yeah, Heidi's always saying yes. Heidi is one of our star students. Love Heidi. Your business is going to explode in 2022. I can't wait to see it. Yes. Okay. So I see Heidi. I see Lisa. I see Ann. I see Stella. I see Layla. Janine's back on. Love it. You guys had a little lunch. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. We're going to fly into the last hour of this, and I could go for another 5 hours with everybody, but Michelle knows I can.
Time goes so fast.
Time goes really fast.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely. Like
absolutely. Kelly Weber's back. We got everybody back. Okay. Here she is. Okay. Lead generation model. Let's dive into that. What page are we on?
Let's pull back a little bit.
Pull back a little bit.
Why are leads important?
Okay, let's talk about that. Why are leads important?
We need leads to do business, and I feel sometimes we underestimate the importance of leads, and we go ahead and put, beyond leads, we go ahead and start prioritizing marketing. We start prioritizing, running errands or some other things that really is not going to bring us money.
That's right.
That's our first job, is generating leads. That's it. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be whatever you want to be, and yet without leads, you have no business.
Well, going back to the business conversation, think about this: is if you don't have any leads, do you have a business? If you don't have leads coming in, if you don't have clients to service, do you have a business?
No.
You don't have a business. You're just having a reactive type of, I don't know, for profession. I don't know. It's not a business. So you're expecting how many leads to come in through this portal? How many leads will you go out and get? I had a conversation with Chris Fairs with one of our top coaching groups, and he was saying that there's only 2 conversations. Either I have it with them or they have it with me. And I just know that many conversations need to happen every single day to have my appointments hit, to have my listings taken, to have my units closed. So either, and this was an introvert, which I like that he was saying, and Seth Diamond was really, really moved by him because he said, I'm an introvert too. And I like the way he put it. Either I'm going to have to go out there and talk to people, or I'm going to do something to create them talking to me. So doing something, them talking to me, I know Stella Mirkovich, I see her on yesterday, we're on the BCP call. We said an easy thing for them talking to you is a simple post on social media asking, how old were you when you bought your first home? How old were you when you bought your first home?
Smart. That's smart.
Where was your first home that you bought? Some people are going to say, I'm still renting. I don't even have one. Oh, I was 17. Oh, I was 22. Oh, I was 35. Every single response, that is them talking to you, inviting you in for a real estate conversation. You go ahead and private message them. You were 17? That is awesome. I was 26. Where did you buy? Are you in the market to buy now? Boom, you have a real estate conversation. Okay, that's how you use things. That's how you use a hook out there for them to respond to you. What you could also put out an ad. You can do an ad through commands, and that could be a response. They're calling you. Well, obviously you have to follow up, but they've inquired through you. You're not seeking them. Proactive ones may be looking with something like for sale by owners or circle prospecting.
You know, just wanted to interrupt a little bit. Sorry.
Mhm.
I just saw this post from James Shaw, and I thought it was hilarious.
We love James.
He said, "Hey, can we be in agreement that no member of this community will send a fallback email next week? Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Instead, be the local economist of choice." So, what can you do to truly portray yourself as that?
Yeah, yeah. We're all gonna get that fallback email
Yeah.
from our insurance company.
Had the idea to do a fallback. Email, but compare market stats from last year.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Michelle's saying somebody shared it. I know a lot of you go on that call. They were sharing, do a fallback market snapshot, basically. Let's fall back and look at what last year looked like this time in the market. Forget about then of course I realized, oh my gosh, the time is changing. That's why that was the theme of this email. So you killed two birds, one stone, but you're not father time. Okay. So what are we selling here? We're selling houses. We don't sell furniture. We don't.
Most clocks update automatically.
Yeah, most clocks update automatically now anyway. So, all right, let's go into this is lead generation model. What is it? We are on page 11 inside of your book. There are a million ways prospecting, both, and marketing. We used to be in a very, very marketing-based business. Marketing-based business, when I got into the business in 2004, it was all about the postcards. Who could send more postcards? Who could send more mailers? We would have the mailer folded with it'd be a bright pink piece of paper.
Yeah.
He's saying, yeah.
And yeah,
2004.
I mean, I've heard from Gary Keller.
Yeah, I heard from Gary Keller. Gary Keller told you.
Here's the thing. I mean, that works.
Yeah.
Until the market shifts. At that point, you gotta be prospecting based and marketing enhanced, though, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you are marketing based, prospecting enhanced, or you're prospecting based, marketing enhanced. There is no wrong way or right way. It's just what is working for you. Are you converting your leads to appointments? Are you getting leads on your prospecting or on your marketing? And do not abandon ship. You're not going to try something and try it for 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, and go, this isn't working.
Okay.
You have to commit to it. You have to create a habit of it. You have to be consistent with it. You need to call for sale by owners for every day for the next 60 days, and then let me know if it's working for you. Don't tell me you did it one weekend, you stopped by an open house and the for sale by owner is going to list with their friends. So you're not doing for sale by owners anymore. That's what happens. That's what you do. Or you say, oh, I'm not going to do door knocking. I've done that already. When you tell me I've done it already, that means you've done it twice. Oh, I've done it. It doesn't work. You went out once, you went out twice, you didn't get any results. You've done it already. No, going out door knocking is a consistent Friday activity, consistent Saturday activity, consistent every day at 4 o'clock, I go door knocking. Okay. So we have marketing and we have prospecting. Marketing, money intensive, passive, long-term results. Can you wait? We're also impatient. But we don't want to pick up the phone and call people. The best way to get an immediate response is pick up the phone and call people, or go knock on their doors and stand in front of them, or put yourself in some of these networking opportunities. And looking at Hugo's part of NARIP. Hugo he's putting himself in the realtor community. So there's a possible recruit there for passive income profit share. B, there's a possible co-broke. Hey, you got what I need. I got a customer. You have the listing. Hey, let's work together on this. Who cares what company they're at? We can co-broke things. And then 3, the other thing is he's putting himself as a leader inside of a community. Well, a leader inside of a community, whether it's the real estate, whether it's, Hispanic professional, it doesn't matter. It's that he's showing up as a leader and the community is getting served. That's it. I'm a leader inside my church when I do a Bible study or I do a Love Thy Neighbor feeding. I can sense myself being watched by others, that they're looking at me. Mary Beth, what do we do with this? What do we do with that? If I wanted to say to them, hey, can I talk to you about selling your house? Of course, they'd listen to me because they see me as a leader in the light. So prospecting on the bottom, which it's kind of interesting that's on the bottom, foundational, is time intensive, not money. It's proactive and it's immediate results. So when we take a look at page 11, you see all of these prospecting ideas and marketing ideas. Put in the chat right there, what has been your biggest source of income? See, 82% of business comes from only 4 sources of or less. for our agents. It's been surveyed. You guys are not all over the gamut. It's not like, oh, I did a little business here, a little business there. What was the source that got you through 2021? What is the source, Rita, that made your business explode in 2021? Kelly, you had a great year. What was the source? What was the number one, the number two source? Just throw it out there.
Sphere of influence on Facebook. Sorry.
Facebook. What did you call yourself before? The mayor, the digital mayor?
Yeah.
She's a digital mayor of the social media community, right? So she said Facebook and sphere of influence. Kelly?
Local business and referrals.
So B2B, business to business, local business, promoting local businesses and referrals from other agents. Anybody else want to share one main source? Janine, I see you. Lisa, Stella, Holly, what was your one source that you could lean on? Heidi, Hugo, Arlene, Michelle? So Michelle was past client referrals and Arlene was sphere of influence.
Mine was open houses and my sphere.
Open houses and my sphere. Okay, so now we stay in those lanes. Heidi, where was yours coming from?
Mine was previous buyers and open houses.
Okay, so are you looking at some kind of accountability chart? Is that what you're looking at? Are you looking at it? Do you have it tracked? That's my question.
Yes, I track it.
Yeah, she has it tracked. So that's what I'm getting at. Thank you, Heidi, for being an example. You need to track your stuff. I will also, Jason will share out with everybody a metrics tracker that Michelle reminded me was built from last year, and we've updated it for November on to 2022. It will be able to help you keep everything organized. It's an Excel doc. Could you do it through some of the KW systems? Yes, but I also know agents, and you also all want to have something in your drive, something that's not attached to the technology, and it's an easy way. And right there is a drop down to tell you where the source was.
You know what's interesting, Barbara? Every agent that I've had a consultation with that is closing 5 million and beyond, most of their business came from their circle of influence and their database.
That's right.
And most of us neglect those people that already know us and trust us.
That's right. And it's not just the people that are in there. We need to grow it in a systematic way. So how many people are you committed to adding to your database? And that's part of the lead generation model. Scott, you want to come over here for a second? What? Scott was in the house, and I just figured I want him to say hello to everybody, being that he is here. Scott has been an amazing resource for us. Scott, give a little quick hello and just tell them who you are and how they get in touch with you.
All right. Well, hey, good to see you. Recognize some of the names I see on all the little boxes. So it's actually nice to actually be back in an office and not relying 100% on Zoom, although you guys are there. So that means by default, I'm actually wearing pants today. So.
Thank God.
Yes, right. Thank God. So, all right, got the laughs done. Good. On to the next part. So many of you know me as being one of your mortgage partners for many years now with Atlantic Home Loans. If you hadn't heard our big news, Atlantic Home Loans was recently acquired by Guaranteed Rate. And yes, we are staying here working with all you folks in all the market centers at BCP. And I was actually here just meeting with a client. So want to let you know that we're certainly available as we've always have been. And the nice thing about this move is it gives us a lot of the resources that we didn't have well enough at Atlantic. We've got so many tools, and it's so amazing what I'm trying to get my head around in the 3 weeks I've been there now, what we can do and the tools we can bring to the table to ultimately help you sell more homes. I mean, just, even if it's something that I could bring to the table, like sitting down face to face with a client who didn't want to just go online and type in his info and move on to the next. I made time, came in and sat down with that client. Always happy to give that time and attention to your clients as well. So what you want to do is, usually I type my info in the chat box, but okay. Mary Beth will get my contact info, which is mostly the same except for my email. My phone number is still the same. My website is still scottleaf.com. You guys could reach out to me, you and your clients. I'm available by phone 7 days a week till 11 p.m. If you want to go online and have your client start the application there, by the time it gets to me electronically, it should be 100% ready to review it. Yes, that means I'm getting you, a full pre-approval on Sunday night at 9 o'clock. That never happens, right?
Yeah.
But always happy to help. So with that said, thank you all for your time. Thank you for tagging me and Mary Beth. And yep. And the new cards are filtering their way in. So they'll be in a market center near you soon. All right.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much. Okay, so we got on page 21, pull out page 21 in your book because that is the economic model, the lead generation model exercise for you to complete. Once again, my email, Jason, go ahead and put mollive@kw.com. If you need to reach me for anything, you might want me to come in, you might want me to sit with you, we do some small groups, be happy to create some stuff. Maybe take a picture of this, or actually here, take a picture of this and send this to Jason. Yep, yep. I just want them to get to there. Now, back to the screen share. I'll do it. So here we are on the lead generation model, and understand it's like a funnel. It's a funnel that we are going to put our leads in, and they're either going to become contacts and we're going to strengthen that relationship, and we're going to convert them. So we're going to capture them. We're going to connect with them. We're going to convert them.
Now, the only way you do that is through having a systematic way of actually showing them your value. Now, when you were talking about people trying things and then dropping ship, it's because they don't have the conversion ratios for them. Example, people that you don't know yet, people that you have not built a relationship with them just yet. That's called a have not met. That's on the MREA book. Have not met conversion ratios is out of every 50 people, you'll get one transaction. If you nurture them every single month of the year, 50 to 1. If we're talking about somebody that you already have a relationship with, the ratio is 12 to 2. Out of every 12 people that you have in your database that you nurture every single month, you get 2 transactions from every 12. So, sometimes we can understand those conversion ratios before we drop ship, because most likely you're dropping ship earlier than you should, right? Cool.
Absolutely. So we talk about the lead generation, the relationship management, and that's what he's talking about. That relationship management, it may seem like forever. You meet somebody and they have a great conversation with you about the fact that they want to buy real estate, but they may be a year out or 2 years out. Are you willing to keep the relationship going? So what systems do you have in place? Are you putting them into command? Are you putting them on a smart plan? Do you put them on a neighborhood nurture? Do you send out your mobile app? Do you, you
gotta get closer to them emotionally.
Yeah, emotionally, you have to get closer to them. They will be okay. They don't care what you know until they know that you care. It's the same way with your clients as it is with regular people. Okay, so they have to know that you care about their business. Ask them questions about family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Use your forward mechanisms to get into relationship with them, not just a contact. You want to get in relationship. And here are some ideas as to how to saturate, 19 to connect, 36 to convert. And are you committed to all of these touches? Because what I find is that we meet people, you have some great experience, you say whatever, and then you kind of just let it die because they are not ready right now. And that's why the DT-D2 schedule is so important, because if you've put everybody in your database, Michelle, is it still working the same way where you need to tag them as A and tag them as B? Okay, so there's a little bit of work. You're working on that? There's a little bit of work that you have to do.
It's called Leroy. You can leverage that out.
Yeah, huh?
It's called Leroy. Can do that for you.
Lyric?
It's called Leroy. The service that we
Scott Leroy.
Scott Leroy can do that for you.
Scott Leroy. So
Leroy.
all different ways we say it, right? So Scotty, good old Scotty down there in Florida. That Scott Leroy company can do it. You give them the database and you ask them to tag everybody A, B, C, because for whatever reason, our command will not allow you to just pull by the letter A. Okay, so you might have to do a little bit of work. The other thing that you can do to make it super simple and no excuses is just export out your database and have it on an Excel document so that you can sort it. Now, every time you need to go and call for the week, you're going to have to do a new export because you might have added people for the week. And I'm giving you a reason to not have an excuse. Just go in, export on a Sunday night. Now you got your entire database. Go into the Excel file, sort by last name, and then you're able to pull out your A's or your B's or your F's or your C's or whatever. But are you committed? Are you, and I ask this often, are you intentional? Are you absolutely committed to talking to these people? Because going through it and just texting them or making the phone call and they didn't answer and you left a message, Does it work? It works a little bit, but there's nothing better than fiercely commitment to get a conversation going. Yeah.
And here's the thing. We're talking about MOFR earlier today.
Yeah.
MOFR is a concept that is on the shift book and literally means make offer for immediate response. Make offer for immediate response. And we as realtors, we do the anti-MOFR. So make offer for not immediate response, which is, hey, I'm great. I sold 100 homes this year.
Yep.
I sold $1 billion in real estate. And that's not a MOFR. Now, what's a MOFR? Hey, reach out for the 15 most common mistakes that sellers make.
I love it.
Right? So bringing that value and that engagement certainly can help you, because Zillow, Truly, a Realtor.com, all these guys are throwing MOFRs at your people.
What's another MOFR that you could throw out? Has anybody thrown out a MOFR?
Yeah.
Call out for a free equity analysis.
There you go.
Right. So call now for a free equity analysis.
So we sell your house or we buy it back from you.
We sell your house or we buy it back from you. Inquire within. What's the first one you said?
Click here for the 15 most common mistakes.
Yeah, click here for the 15 most common mistakes that a seller makes.
That's a MOFR.
Selling their home. Hey, I'm not selling my home for 5 years or so, but I want to know. So should I not put that person on a drip campaign for the next 5 years about their neighborhood? Yeah. Should I not be stopping by to say, hey, why not like quarterly? I'll just send you an asset analysis. I'll send you a little CMA so that you see where the trends are going. Because here's what happens. Life shows up to somebody like that, and 5 years isn't 5 years. In 2 years, the husband gets laid off or job gets changed, and they say, you know what, we can go now. And then you're calling in 5 years, and the guy's already in in Florida.
Usually what happens.
Yeah, it is usually what happens, because we're not really committed to making a systematic call into the database, which is a DTD2. Okay, so if we look here, it says 4 touches, quarterly phone calls, 12 touches, monthly emails, newsletters, 2 touches, promotional direct mail, 1 touch, annual event party. I know every single one of you can do that.
And through command, all these things are already there.
They're already there.
Just grab it, copy, paste it, and that's it. It's 3 buttons that you got to push.
I know there's some of us on here, and I mentioned Amrita's photo shoot that she does. What are some other annual events that you all have been committed to in your business?
Pie delivery.
Pie delivery. Okay, I have some agent that delivers pies. What else?
Pictures with Santa.
Pictures with Santa.
And a movie that we do.
A movie night?
A movie, well, it's going to be Polar Express and Pictures with Santa.
So gearing towards the holidays, some kind of event like that. Got it. So pictures. I know that I believe our buddy Sean Annan did like a picture with the Easter Bunny when that came around. Okay, so in April time with the Easter baskets and stuff. What's something else that we could be doing? Or maybe you heard of a great event that somebody throws once a year. Okay, Lisa?
It's not really an event, but we deliver like goodie bags to our clients, our top clients' children for Easter and for Halloween.
Okay, so the kids get awesome goodie bags.
And we're knocking on their door and hopefully getting a face-to-face, which is the goal. So
guys, trick or treat. Everybody is opening their door. Trick or treat.
I know an agent.
Marita, what about you?
I do a pumpkin event every year. That works really well for me.
A pumpkin event. What does that mean?
I go to the local park. I buy the sugar pumpkins. They're like $3 or $4 from the local farm, and I bring the pumpkins. I tell everybody to come, and I have paint sets or stickers, and they can decorate their own pumpkin.
Awesome.
There's an agent. She used to close like 15, 17 million, and she did a bunch of buyer seminars.
Buyer seminars, right?
A bunch of them.
Buyer seminars.
And she mixed that with like on a brewery.
At a brewery.
Yeah.
At a brewery. I love it.
Yeah.
You do whiskey tasting. Maybe over the holidays, you do some kind of like a martini bar tasting. It's a little party. Maybe it's a little more intimate. Maybe you find your favorite restaurant and you throw a little, gathering together for the holidays.
And you can use your vendors to leverage the customer.
Use your vendors to leverage. You also have, like you said, we have Halloween and Thanksgiving is coming. So Thanksgiving is the easiest time to make these calls or care calls or create some sort of event pie giveaways, whip up the whipped cream, whip up a referral, and you get an extra can of whipped cream. You got to make a little game with people.
Even I saw Orly.
Orly.
She posted a VIP client picture event, something like that.
Yeah, she brought in a photographer like Amarita does. She brought in a photographer for the clients, and then now they have a nice, holiday
No,
card.
making sure they feel that they're truly VIP.
VIP. So what do you do with your VIPs versus what are you doing for all? Also, we have another great agent that did a citywide yard sale, and she got the idea from two great agents out of the Ridgewood Market Center that always do the Dennis Minetti team, right? Ramsey, they do the yard sale. So there are great events that you can host, and I challenge you, if you're like, I don't have a lot of clients right now, maybe team up and create an event where you can do it together. Do it at the market center, do it at a park, do it in the parking lot, do it in the training center. All right, so don't have any excuses. Also, your local libraries and local places, Knights of Columbus, and they're real inexpensive halls where you can rent or have events. All right, so here we have all these different ideas, and we're going to do a special class on different lead generation tactics. Maybe we're going to get a panel with some people because there are different ways. Social media is a big one. Instagram, using what were we talking about? The Google what? Google My Business page has been getting some people business. Being inside of PTOs or being inside of chambers, being inside of going to the city council meetings. I mean, we want to encourage you to get involved at all different levels, but whatever may work for you. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but that is the lead generation model. And here's the deal with the lead generation model. You could do it with people that you know or people you don't know. You could do it with people that you know or people that you don't know. And so what does that mean? That means that you either have a database full of people, and here's what it is. It comes down to a 10 to 1 or 50 to 1. If they're people that you don't know, not Mets, we consider them, you're going to have a much harder, not a much harder, but it's going to be more challenging to get them from the outside circle to the inside circle. You want to get them to the inside circle. And instead, we go to the outside circle, people we don't know that we market to. And the whole goal is to get them in here, but we have a whole bunch of people on the inside circle that if we just focused on them, we would get all the business and then some from the people that we just know, love, and care about us. People that are in our community, people that matter to the places that we live, work, and raise our children. There's enough business in your backyard. So I'm going to encourage you to dig deep and think about, am I going to go build a brand new database, or am I going to work with the sphere of influence that I already know and build upon that? Hey, Aunt Margaret, who do you know? Hey, neighbor, who else do you know that I should be knowing? Who else do you know that I could be helping? And you add your database organically through people that you already know, love, and like you.
There's a really cool question that even a ball coach, those Rob Daniels, he said, after you ask that question and they say, no, I don't know anybody, ask them, hey, who should I know? Who was the way that he said it?
Who should I know?
He used to say, exactly. Who should I know that you know that may know of somebody?
Yeah.
You go like 3 levels deep.
Yeah. Who do you know that I should know that may know somebody that I should know? Yeah. Like, have fun with it, because it's who do you know that I could be helping? Okay. So when we get to that page, on page 21, what you're deciding is how many contacts need to achieve your goal to the economic model? How many contacts are in your database today? How many do you need to add each week, each month in order to get to that goal? Here's the deal, and write this down. If you want to do 100 transactions, you're either going to need to have 1,000 people in your database that know you, love you, like you, that you could pick up the phone and call, or you're going to need to have 5,000 people that you don't know that you very much consistently work, which means you are outdoor knocking, you are in their mailbox twice a month, you are making phone calls, you're putting them on emails, you are getting to know. It's either you go after 5,000 people that you don't know to do 100 transactions, or you go after 1,000 people that you do know to do 100 transactions. It's that simple. And if you tell me, oh, I have a database of 1,000, I'm not getting that kind of conversion. Are those truly relationships? So then you identify 100 people inside of that database and you say, I'm going to work on that first. Then I'm going to get to the next 100, to the next 100. I really need to create relationships with these people if I want to see that kind of result. What is your current lead generation source? We heard a whole bunch of them: open houses, sphere of influence. What is your future? You're going to make some decisions as to where you're going to be spending your lead generation dollars and time. And you're going to commit to how many daily calls you need in order to hit that number. You're going to break down your 4 annual calls. What do those look like? Your 12 monthly emails, what do those look like? Your 2 promotional direct mail, what does that look like? Is it a calendar at the end of the year? Is it a pen in the middle of the year? Is it a bookmark during the summer because you're doing summer reading and you're sending out a reading list? An annual event, are you going to have a pie giveaway? Are you going to have a party, a movie night? Are you going to what are you going to do? 36 to convert. Once again, 26 bi-weekly emails. It's already built for you. It's in command. Put them on the bi-weekly nurturer, bi-monthly nurturer. 2 events, 2 get to the 4. It's all there. So you guys got to complete 21. I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want to help you execute it. Okay. What kind of ahas do we have on lead generation? I need 2 ahas, 2 takeaways, 2 action items. Give me two somethings.
Better do it.
I better do it. If it's to be, it's up to me. Give me one more. Lead generation.
You just gotta be creative with the events that you plan.
You got to enjoy the events that you create, because if you show up and have a lot of fun, they're going to really get to know who you are, and they're going to want to be with you. You're going to be that magnet. Janine?
Take advantage of Halloween, right? And they're going to open up the doors anyways, right?
Yeah, that's when they're going to open the doors,
Exactly.
right? So I love what you just said. How about we change the way we look at that, right? And maybe like
Hand them the candy, right?
give them the candy. Give them the candy. And the candy needs to have maybe a MOFR.
Exactly.
That you're offering a complimentary asset analysis. Equity, I'm sorry, I keep saying asset, but equity analysis. And if they'd like to take that, oh my gosh, how many could you give out? Could you prepare 100? Could you go to 100 doors? Great, take advantage of it, and take advantage of the Thanksgiving time, because everybody's thankful we're in America, so we don't have to worry about culture or religion, right? So this is a good time of year to just handwrite. How about handwrite some thank you notes? Thank you for being you, with a couple business cards. That's it. Thank you for the future business you've referred. Thank you. You don't have to write a novel. Thank you for referring Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They were such a one. You don't have to write that. You should write it when you close, but you don't have to write that. Have to be more consistent about what type. Let's see what we have here. I have to be more consistent about type of lead gen, as opposed to focusing on too many different types. That's right. Make candy goodie bags and add your business cards. Okay. I love it. I just booked a meeting with a buyer to go over what he's looking for in a home. I love taking action, Layla. Thank you so much. One at a time. We change it one at a time. All right. So now as we move on, you will move to the uncomfortable stuff. I say uncomfortable stuff because for rainmakers, organizational model conversations are always uncomfortable, and budget and money financial conversations are always uncomfortable. Here's what it is. You should have a budget. You should have a P&L. You should know what money is coming in, what money is going out. All of that should be very clear to you. It's not an industry where many agents do, and I would like that to be different here. Okay, we have the tools for you. You're going to get supported with, we even have an MREA budget. If you go to Keller Inc., you will find the budget there. kellerinc.com. It's in the MREA resources. It's called the chart of accounts. It shows you what accounts you would actually like set up, what kind of spending you would be doing, what spending you should expect. Okay, so we have a planning tool created annually, projects expected returns. That's the budget. Then you go and you create your P&L, which is what is actually really happening. And you should be reviewing that. I review my P&L basically every Saturday. Saturday mornings are my time to get on, to see what's going on. Are we hitting, this month I said to my husband, I think we're going to have like an extra couple grand to do something with. Which account would you like me to send it to? We're not spending, we're saving for our future. So which account? Is it the future investment or is it for the future retirement? And we're doing different things with them. So now we have choices and money gives you options. When you have extra money, it definitely gives you options. Invest, don't spend, practice accountability, not accounting. And we talked a lot about this operating expenses versus cost of sale in the beginning. Definitely need to know that. This is the 30-30-40 is the budget model. And this is the conversation that we would need to have. And I'd like to have it in different levels, because if you're a new agent, there may be some things that you're just not spending on. And if you're a rainmaker and you have other people in your business, there's some things that you are probably spending on. Kathy?
Just had a question about the percentage on expenses, because when you're a new agent.
Sure.
And, we think about the MREA where, with revenue, not expenses.
Yeah.
Would you
lead with
start
revenue?
at a lower percentage?
What I think what I find is if you're a new agent and you're a single new agent, can we agree that you're going to pay at least 30% of cost of sale?
Right.
And if you cap, that's going to start to go down with the percentage.
Right.
So when we look at what's your total out, I would say 50-50 would be a good bar to say you're instead of the 30-30-40 where you're netting 40, you're probably going to net more like 50 or 60% of your money.
Right. Expenses, your
Yeah.
actual expenses are going to be lower.
Way lower than what, yeah. Because here's what happens. You guys say, oh, it's going to be too expensive to market. If you guys consistently marketed it with a postcard in the mailbox to 100 homes, 1,000 homes a month, 1,000 homes a month, the MREA says you should see a 50-to-1 return on that in 18 months. So if I have a 50-to-1 return on 1,000 homes, that tells me I should see 20 transactions come out of 1,000 homes marketed to every single month consistently. 1,000 pieces in the mailbox that you don't even touch, that are pretty much created, developed, and mailed out for you on your own, like on their company does it, whether it's Michael Lewis Marketing Suite or Prism or whatever, maybe would cost you $750 a month. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Okay, so do the math. Somebody do the math. 750 times 18 months. If I put 750 out for 18 months, how much is that, Michelle? $13,500 is what I would spend in marketing for 1,000 pieces over 18 months. Well, the model says if I'm consistent enough in those 1,000 homes, and then I go door knock them and I call them and I have an event called a block party or something. Oh, I got a listing in there. So then I do an open house and make it a big neighborhood event. The model says that of 1,000 homes, you should see 20 transactions come out of those people if you're really working it. So how many of us wouldn't spend $13,000 to see 20 transactions? That's what you have to say. Like, what am I going to commit to? I'm going to put my dollar here and I'm going to expect. Now imagine you didn't get 20 transactions and you got 10.
Still worth it.
Still worth it, right? Still worth it. 10 transactions. Let's say you're at a low price point and your average commission is 8,000. Would you trade 80,000 for 13,000? All day long, every day I'd do it. Give me 80, I'll give you 13. Give me 80, I'll give you 13. So that's what you guys have to think about is sometimes we go, oh, marketing, oh my God, it's so expensive. Oh my gosh, I don't have that kind of money. You don't have the ability to not spend that money if you really want to have a big business. It's just going to be a set expense. You might say, I'm going to work this for 6 months until I see a couple of deals start happening, and then I'm going to start spending the money. But you better make a commitment to start spending the money.
But Mary Beth, the other piece of that is
Yeah.
the follow-up that you just
The
brought up.
follow-up.
Because the thing is that it's easier to spend that money
Yeah.
and say like, oh, I have my marketing piece out there.
Right. So Kathy's saying there's like this comfort. There's this like, oh, I did it. I have my marketing piece out there. I spent the money. It went out. It hit the mailboxes. I did it.
Right. And then there's the least favorite part, which
Yeah.
is the getting on the phone and saying, hi, how are you?
The least
You know,
favorite
we're
part
not-
of getting on the phone, the
that's
follow-up,
really-
knocking on the doors, following up with emails.
Sending out a mailer if you're not
There is no point in sending a mailer if you're not going to follow it up. And that is absolutely, anybody on this call here has done massive mailers and it's been a big part of their business. I see a hand. I do see Kelly's hand. I myself was sending about 3,500 pieces. What do you send a month or had?
We do towns. Oh, are you talking to me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oradell, River Edge, Emerson. So 3, 6, about 9,000.
Okay, so she's doing about 9,000 pieces a month, or is it 3 weeks?
A month. One a month.
How long have you been doing that for?
We've been doing it for a year and we get a ton of business locally from it. And I will tell you, we partner with people. We partner with local businesses.
To cover some of the expense of that mailer?
Not so much to cover the expense. We were paying for it. We offer coupons and everything. It just makes us look like the local experts.
That is so awesome.
And
I love that.
People like us keeping it in the community.
Yeah, it's something, same thing that Amrita was kind of getting at, is it was just using local people, right? Using the local farm. I love that. Great, great, great. So I'd love to see, she's only doing it for a year because Michelle was like, I was wondering what the conversion maybe is out of that. So 1 year might not give you enough evidence on closed business. By next year, you should be able to report what that business did for you.
Well, I'll tell you, we had 20 million last year. We're closing the year out at 50 million.
Yay! Ooh, awesome.
And we weren't doing that last year. So that is a direct result of.
How long have you been in that
marketing.
market?
I've been for about 15 years, but just over the last 5 years, consistently marketing to these people.
I love what you're saying though. So for the first 10 years, it wasn't looking like what the last 5 years have looked like. And the last year definitely didn't look like the last year before the previous year.
Correct.
Is this the first year you're at that mark over 40, closing 50 million? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now, Kelly, your challenge is keep it up for 2022 and grow off of that.
Correct.
Yeah. So what Kelly's talking about though too is, and a lot of us are doing that work of the legwork of inside of the communities. Now she's coupling it with, I'm going to send a consistent mailer, which is going to help my phone ring as much as when I ring their phone, they're going to go recognizable, brand, been coming to my house for that long, and now it's all working, and it's 9,000 pieces. So think about that commitment. And the other thing I love is, maybe if she's not doing it, another thing you could think about doing is like my pizzeria that I worked for forever for 15 years. One of the best mailers I used to send out was at least once a year, she'd give me like a $5 off coupon and an all you can eat, buy one, get one or whatever for spaghetti night on Tuesday or something.
I just want to say one more thing. I didn't start out with 9,000. I started out with what I could afford. So for example, if I could only afford to do half my town of, Oradell, then that's what I sent out. And as business kept coming in, we reinvested back in. And so maybe it was only 2,500 and then we added to the 3,000 and then we moved to another town. So we took our money and reinvested back in.
I love it. I love it. I too did the same. I started with 80. I went to 300. I then went to 1,000 and then I got to 3,500 in the same town. But I didn't give myself the permission, as Kathy said before, lead with revenue. I didn't give myself the permission to go ahead and expand until I saw that it was working in the 80, working in the 300. And then I just removed, I removed my financial fear and said, I'm just going to plunge in and go all 3,500 because I see what's working at the 80, at the 300, and now the 1,000, 3,500 pieces. It was, I was a young kid. I was like, oh gosh, this hurts. And the business that came off of it set me up. All right. Thank you. We'll go deep dive on that. And we're going to do a panel with a couple people who are really hitting that lead gen model. And as far as for the budget, these are the different levels of business. The top line on this is the commission coming in. So Kathy, to your point of like the $150,000 agent that is bringing in that kind of GCI in our world is capping. Okay, but that is a single agent. And you can see that the mark is 50%, like 49% would be the take home. And if we were to look at that so we can clearly understand it, is the cost of sale in that is their cap and their royalty. And so 19.5 is a low number there because that's probably a Texas-based office, right? A Texas-based office might have a lower cap. The gross profit is now the 87%. Then you take off the expenses. Inside of the expenses is $57,000. So you tell me what our new agents in New Jersey, and here's the difference, guys. In New Jersey, with the average price point, I'm not saying only New Jersey, in places where the average price point is high, we don't have to do as many units. So if I have to go for 150,000 to come in, if my average price point is $10,000 average check, I got to do 15 transactions. If half of those are listings, what's my listing photo expenses for the year versus the guy who has to do double that or triple that because his average check is 4,000 or 5,000. And now they're working that many more units, that many more clients, that many more closing gifts, that many more admins because the paperwork is still there. So that's where you start to look at it and go, what, $57,000 for a brand new agent in our market? I don't think that's necessary. So Kathy, that's where you would pick up some of that extra income as a net to yourself. Because I think that I would safely say for a brand new agent to spend $2,000 a month on marketing and tools and stuff, that would be a lot. So that would be bringing that $57,000 down to $24,000, which would bring that number way up as a net. But then as you get to the right side, as you notice, there's the best practices, the $1 million and the 2.5, and that is bringing it into model. And even Gene Rivers said the other day on his business planning, there are very few agents that are hitting it. It's just a model. It's something to build your business towards. Okay. Yep. What she said. Okay. So all of this operating expenses by category. This is the breakdown. I will go ahead and send this presentation out to you also so that you can reference it. It may be right in your book on page 22.
Hey, Mary Beth, can I ask you a
page 12? Go ahead, Amrita.
So you had mentioned the ABC. I have over like 3,000 people in my database, and I use different tags like, oh, they come to my events, oh, they were a previous client, or whatever, right? I use different tags. However, I think what I struggle with is when I want to send out a mailer or send out something or target something, and if I want to do a 36 touch to the same exact population, if I want to start off with, let's say, 100 or 500, I'm not doing it with some sort of strategy. So what would you recommend in my scenario with how I'm describing it? Should I just go through and tag these people as A, B, and C? And what would A, B, and C be? A would be somebody like I've done business with, or they're my promoters or cheerleaders. B would be what?
Okay, so two different things. So what Amrita you're talking about is categorizing your buyers in A buyers, B buyers, C buyers, A clients, B clients, C clients, right? But before, when I was talking about that, I meant taking the last name, the DTD2. I don't want to confuse that.
Okay, got it.
Taking all of your last name A and tagging them A, so that you could just pull up your A's and call your A's without any excuse. But to your point is recognizing who your VIPs are. That's your A client, right? So okay. I would task you to go through that database and identify at least 25 that you consider your true VIP. Okay. Which means you are going to go and take them to a coffee or a meeting, I don't know, once a quarter. Like, you are naturally going to see them often. Like, there's somebody that you could call and just say, listen, I'm in the middle of a class, but who do you have that I can call right now? Because I need to call somebody. Otherwise, my team leader is going to yell at me. Like, that's the VIP, that they naturally just refer you anyway. But then your second tier would be, I mean, I would go, what's a B client worth to me? A B client is somebody who's positive about me. Maybe they're going to move. Maybe they're a past client. They do refer once in a while, but they're not like a big like cheerleader. I would tell you the C's are, I probably didn't talk to them, or they didn't answer the phone. I might see them at my cousin's event. Maybe it's my sister's best friend that was at the baby shower. I never talked to her, but when I'm with her, it's cool. So I would actually create the level of possibility that you would get business from them.
Okay, so C would be people I don't speak to regularly or I've never met.
I wouldn't even call them never met. I would have them in a whole nother group.
So never met should be a whole other group.
Yeah, they would just be in the database. They would be in not mets.
Right, so it should be A plus my VIPs who are my cheerleaders, promoters. A
Yeah.
are my past clients. B, people I see, kind of know, but don't really speak to regularly, and then non-Mets.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works for you, right?
Yeah,
Whatever
okay.
really works for you, and then you keep it organized in that category. It's like your clothing closet. For me, it's like, do I do it by colors? Do I do it by, I don't know, whatever works for me in the season, right? Organize it however you need to, but it's got to work for you. All right, so just wrapping this up, going back to our budget. Like I said before, some of us don't even have a budget for the household, so this might be challenging, but I'm going to encourage also our MCAs to get on and do a couple of classes with our agents. We also have an amazing girl at the BCP level. Her name is Charmaine, and Charmaine creates budgets. She's so brilliant. She creates budgets and she's creating some tools for us. So we're going to see that come out before the end of the year. So I don't want to really butcher this. And for some of you, you just need to understand, what are you committed to as far as marketing yourself? What are you committed to? All right, now organizational model. We're going to go through this. This is a fast one. This is a 7th level organizational model. And if you wanted to lean on that, number one in your red book, it's page 278. Sorry, 273. In the red book, it's 273. That is the way to the millionaire to the 7th level business. In your workbook, it's going to be in the back. It's going to be on page 24 and 25. So this is just a visual. This is the new visual for how you grow your business. Now imagine you hiring a CEO. So that doesn't happen by accident. It's not like, I'm going to go hire a CEO today. No, it's somebody that probably came up through the ranks and you're like, you know what? This person has really earned the right to sit beside me, and I am retiring, or I am stepping out of this business and I'm moving on to my other businesses, and I'm going to have my CEO run my business. Sue Adler is at that position right now inside of, she's out of the Summit office. I said to Sue, what are you going to do now? She's closing about $350 million this year. She said, I'm done. I was like, you're done? Really? So what she means, she's done. She's the you. She put Scott in place. Scott is her CEO. Scott, here's where Scott came from. And I'm just going to encourage you. Scott was a kid in the back seat of the car when she sold his parents a house. Scott was a 7-year-old kid that was in the back seat of a car that at the time when she was ready to hire her assistant, Scott was then 17. And Scott then came into her business as an assistant. And now Scott is, I want to say he's almost 30, and he is going to be taking over the business. So Scott earned his wings. Scott didn't care what he got paid when he first came into the business, and he realized the value of flying side by side with a true leader. So that's who becomes your CEO. Of course, we have other ideas too, but so you have the CEO and you have a couple arms. You have the director of sales. So you have a sales arm and you have a lead generation arm. And then you have an operations arm. Okay, so you got sales, lead gen, the leads are coming in. Are we converting them? And then you have somebody that's running all of the transaction management and listing management. Now, right now, you may say, oh, that's all me. So what do? The first hire is an admin. Now, a lot of us have gone to a cyberbacker. Some of us have maybe somebody 10 hours in your business and they're local and they're helping you with maybe mailers or marketing. They're going to open doors for you. They're putting lock boxes on. You got sign runners. Those are types of assistants. So when you get your first admin, that person probably catches everything. Then you get a second admin, and then you start to break up that business. So is it the lead admin takes care of client management, takes care of all of your under contract business? Or are they somebody that just takes care of your listings and calls your listing clients and maybe helps you manage any new business coming your way? Whereas then the second admin that you bring in is a transaction coordinator. And in today's world, we can outsource that. We have transaction coordination in all of our offices. You can outsource the transaction coordination. You don't have to actually go put a person in your business, or you could share them. I have a lot of agents in my past that have shared people like that. I have a girl, Kristen. She is, Kristen, Janine, Reese, Kaylee. There's plenty of transaction coordination options, but that's how you leverage yourself. You don't go get yourself a buyer's agent right out the gate. And that's where people fail. People go and get a buyer's agent out the gate, but they don't have their systems and models together so that they have value for the people that they bring into their organization. And I'm not saying any of that's happening, but it does happen. And then when the rainmaker gets really busy and the buyer's agents maybe aren't pulling their weight, well, guess what? I got to put oxygen mask on first. So I just want us to do this the right way. If you're in the position where you're hiring or you're looking at your team going, am I set up properly? I would love to entertain that conversation. So please reach out to me and we can see what we could set up. But part one is you and your 2 admins and a showing agent. Why? Because that showing agent, then eventually you give them a 30, 60, 90. In 90 days, you will be my buyer's agent, or you will stay a showing agent, or we will decide that we are not going to work together. That's it. One of 3 things are going to happen. And as you get into part 2, you start to build that person into that buyer agent, and that buyer agent, as he needs an overflow or she needs overflow appointments, she goes and gets herself a showing agent. We are not getting into splits or anything like that. That would happen at a Rainmaker mastermind, and every team is different. So you and the lead buyer agent, and then you have the lead admin, which we just talked about. And now we have this other arm, which is your lead manager. Now, for some of you, you're like, well, that's a lot of people. I don't have, as you're building, if you had somebody that was literally just dumping leads into you and sending you on appointments, your business would probably explode, because I know you're all super knowledgeable to go out there and handle a client. It's the matter of a lead issue. You don't have enough leads because you're either not willing to go out there and do the work to get them, or you're not willing to pay the money to get the leads to come to you. So you need to make a decision in the next 2 months. Which one is it, and where are you going to put the time, or are you going to put the money in? And then as you grow, and this is where I this is where I kind of tailed off. This is level 5. You, the lead manager, they have an inbound sales associate, an outbound, somebody who's calling for you, somebody who's receiving the leads and cultivating them. You have a director of operations who handles all of the paperwork and the listing management and the transaction management. And you have a lead buyer agent who handles all of the buyers. So at this level, what are you doing? You are just going on listing appointments and running the team. You are only meeting with sellers and running the team. And so you should be in leadership classes. You should be in listing classes. You should be in operations classes. And then you go ahead and you replace yourself. You add a listing agent. Maybe you pay them salary. Listen, I'm going to pay you $2,000 a month. I want you to make X amount of calls, or I want you to go on X amount of appointments. I have an ISO or an OSA or an ISA. They're going to call. They're going to get you booked on an appointment. And then we get to this lands where we start to now you can start to see why I started out the conversation with you're building a business. This is not just you hiring an assistant and a buyer's agent. Now you can get to that point and say, that's all I want. That's the big business I want. And you can also build it beyond. So if you're at this level and you're like, you know what, Mary Beth, I want all of that. I want to get to the point where I'm actually expanding into other markets. I could see myself in Miami. I could see myself, Kathy, where are you moving?
I want to be
West Coast?
Florida.
She's going to be in Florida. I thought she was going to be West Coast. West Coast or East Coast? Right, so she's going to be on the East Coast in Florida, but does her business need to die over here? No. When she's ready to move to Florida, maybe she goes and she finds an agent down in Florida, or she finds an agent here so that she can expand to Florida. But her business is running in both areas. It doesn't have to, especially in today's world with technology and Zoom and stuff, it does not have to die. That's what our expansion model is it allows you to expand into other areas with the same systems, models, and standards, and be able to get more market share, more business. So here's what it looks like. is seventh level is replacing yourself, vision and accountability to growth and standards. And for some of us, you're going, that's too much for me. I really just want a nice $500,000 business with 2 people in it, or I only want a 200. It's okay. Whatever it is, it's fine. I just want you to know what's possible. I have helped people build businesses to this big. It's fun, but it's messy. And the other thing, and I just want you to understand, this is where Gary Keller starts to question. We've seen people sit on the stage with big businesses like that, and he says, show me your P&L. I want to know that that's a business worth owning. I want to know that you're running it to the model, because time and time again, you have an agent that is growing a business. And listen, Kelly, 50 million is going to 100 million. Once you get to that 50, now the 100 is up. It's ahead of you, right? It's going to look really messy getting there. And we want to make sure you're not missing your profit margin, because often when we have a big mess like that, we throw money at it as Band-Aids. Oh, so-and-so, the buyer agents over here, they're causing up, they need more leads. Well, Roger, let's buy them another $3,000 of leads a month. Now we got $36,000 expense. And oh, they need a marketing girl. Now you got a new hire, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so out of model. So I promise you, when it gets to that level, it's just more of the same. What, Raj?
I just showed my mug because you're hitting some of our discussions right on the head. Like literally, are you like sitting here right next to us?
No. Kelly and I talked last night. I was kidding.
Discussions that we have.
Yeah, because I've seen this business before, Roger. I've been here 17 years, 12 years team leader, been in so many markets. You guys have a fabulous business, and there's pain points in there, I'm sure.
Yep, 100%.
We're gonna meet, and we're gonna expose some of them, and we're gonna figure out some stuff. I'll be up there. Don't worry.
Can't wait to have you.
We have a team meeting that we have to make happen, right?
Yep. I got the wall of candy. Just tell me what you like.
Okay. Anything that's keto, okay? Right now, girlfriend needs to lose 37 more pounds, okay?
I've got a refrigerator of keto because I'm doing it right now too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll be up there. Good job, Raj. Good job. Way to be a leader, though, but way to show your face and say that there's a very vulnerable moment to say, hey, guys, she's talking straight to me, and I've been in the business this many years, and my business is this big, but I'm still having the same issues that we're talking about, just at a different level. We're all growing together.
Nope, you hit it right on the head. And, I'm going to say, most people don't know me. I'm only in this business 18 months. And, Kelly's got 20 years experience. And, I've learned, I'm going to bite my tongue right now, a ton from Kelly. Kelly's smiling over there because she knows what I was going to say. And it's just unbelievable. You're hitting these pain points right on the head, and these are discussions that we have every day in this office about growing this business.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for validating that this class was clearly needed. All right. So listen, guys, we are at the end of the class. It's 1:38. You can see. Yep. Okay. Just gonna make sure you can see me. And I just want to hear at least 3 ahas. You have a lot of homework to do because you need to go through this packet and you need to start to put those numbers down, and then we'll have to re-meet again. We'll have another meeting before the end of the year to then share all of the stuff that you've discovered about your business. But let's hear at least 3 ahas before we get out of here. Somebody new, anybody new out there want to share? We're not getting out of here without 3 ahas. My feet are burning. I'll stand here forever.
You are awesome.
Really, hi.
Uh-huh.
I'm really glad I took the opportunity to follow you through this book because I never thought that I'd get through it. So earmarking everything and following through. So thank you. That's
great job. Great job, Stella. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's a bit much. Okay, one more aha. Tracking a must. Tracking a must from the peanut gallery over here. One more.
My ABC in my thing, in my database.
ABC. 1, 2, 3. ABC. You got it. Okay, you can do it. Get it organized. I thank you guys for your time. It's 1:40. I'm getting out of here a little bit early, just to give you some more time to make some more contacts today. Okay. Thank you again, and I will give you a follow-up. Jason is gonna follow up with a bunch of files that will be available to you. If you don't get it, of course, just reach out to me, molive@kw.com. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.